Hello, folks. Welcome to the Nateland podcast. Sitting with Brian Bates, Aaron Weber, as always. Shout out to our sponsor from the makers of Helix, the most comfortable mattress ever. Comes all form, easily customizable sofas, armchairs, love seats, and more. All form delivers directly to your home with fast, free shipping. You can assemble all the furniture yourself in minutes, no tools needed. Right now, All Form is offering 20% off all orders for our listeners at allform.com/Nate. That's 20% off all orders at allforms.com/Nate. Also, hello, folks, to HelloFresh. We like HelloFresh since we are so busy. It makes the dinner decision easy a few days a week. Go to HelloFresh.com/Nate16 and use code Nate16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That is HelloFresh.com/Nate16 and use code Nate16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. And finally, there's nothing quite like the feeling of gathering on a warm fire on a cool evening in a smokeless fire pit from Solo Stove. Makes your outdoor moments even more memorable. Shop Solo Stove's holiday sale for huge site-wide savings now through the end of the year and get $10 off with promo code Nate, plus a lifetime warranty and a free 30-day return. Get an extra $10 off holiday deals at solostove.com, promo code Nate. Welcome, everybody, to the Nateland podcast. We're also sitting here, the very funny, the lovely, the real deal, Leanne Morgan. Welcome.
Thank you.
So this is it.
This isn't it.
I think this will be the thing that changes your career.
I can feel it.
Maybe for the worst. You know, who knows?
Oh, my darling. Well, I got to tell you that I feel like this gives me street cred. I feel like I'm legit now. And I also want to say that I tormented little Brian, worried him to death. When y'all were talking about the Bell Witch, I felt very left out and very, I just thought, what do they mean they're talking about the Bell Witch and not having me? Because I was raised in Adams, Tennessee.
Yeah,
with the Bell Witch. I know. And so when I saw that,
so if I read it right, you went to high school with the Bell Witch. Let me get this.
My husband says I'm the Bell Witch.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, I've always wanted to be on here. I feel very honored to be here.
Yes.
Thank you, my darling. And this is very nifty.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a fun little room. It's exciting.
It is exciting. And all these have been framed and matted in the same frame. All of mine's in terrible looking frame. And look at all this. It's very nifty.
Well, I did it just one afternoon. Decided to put them all in frames. And it was, I didn't do any of this. So, but it does. It looks like it's a real place.
Mm-hmm, it does.
It looks like you've accomplished some stuff. Yeah. And you put on a show.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's all, you're like, I did something. Mm-hmm. They'd be, all right, I don't know.
This all wasn't a lie.
We get a lot of comments about the set.
They like it.
Oh, yeah. People love it, and they love analyzing what's behind us. And just like the Seinfeld set, they pick out little things that they spot and talk about it.
Switch, I need to switch some of it out. I don't know what we need to do. Let's start with some of your comments. So we read the comments that we get.
Okay.
They're all very pleasant, usually saying how great we are. And Donuts Dolls. How do the video guys not get their giggle boxes turned over? Do they ever laugh at you guys? I know they are professional, but my gosh, it's to be hard for them to keep it together while they film y'all. Yeah. What's up? Y'all don't care.
We're laughing, just not loud enough for you to hear.
They said if you didn't hear it, he said it's not his cup of tea. And I see y'all laughing. They laugh. They laugh. Yeah, they don't laugh loud. Uh-huh. You do need to be professional.
They yawn sometimes too.
Yeah. They leave most of the show. That would be great if no one was there. We were like, no one's there.
Yeah.
And that's the main. Y'all do very well. And y'all laugh. And it's nice when you see you laugh.
And I can tell they've got a sweet spirit, both of them.
Oh,
yeah. They do.
Curtis B, has there been any thought about selling autographed copies of the show notes that everyone used during an episode? Maybe to support a charity or something. Sort of like how people sell autographed copies of scripts for movies or TV shows. Being as big of a Nateland fan as I am, getting a signed copy of the notes from the next North Carolina episode would be kind of neat. I don't know how the logistics of how something like that would work. Just a thought. Looking forward to seeing Nate and whoever else is on the bill in Durham next March. Yeah, I mean, you sell them, maybe give Brian straight cash.
I already been selling them.
You're the
Underground.
This is like an option. Like you're going to be the charity. Like where's this charity going? The Human Fund. It goes to helping humans.
Money for people.
Money for people. Yeah, I mean, if someone wanted to buy them, I mean, I'll just send them to you. How do you figure a way to get them to you?
Just email me directly, and if you send me some money, I'll make you as many copies you want.
Yeah, there you go. We're sign them.
Yeah,
you got to give Baked straight cash for his baby. He's got to pay for this baby.
I know.
You know, you got to write him a check. The doctor.
It's coming up.
The doctor a check.
Just get my checkbook out.
Did we write a check? I think we might have wrote a check for something. No, I did a credit card. I think I should try to do it as a joke. When you have a baby, Leanne, maybe you can jump in on this. When you have a baby, don't you pay for it like in the room? I think we paid her a credit card, or you write a check that you pay the hospital.
You might have been busy doing other things.
I was busy birthing. So Chuck Morgan, I guess I probably paid your deductible, right? And then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're not gypsies. I mean, you know, he didn't have to pay out of pocket.
If I could be anything, I'd be a gypsy. I love gypsies. We need to do an episode of gypsies. Can you say gypsy
I don't
still?
know. Well,
I don't know. Oh,
But
Lord, can you not say it?
I'm a big fan.
Leanne just got canceled.
I always loved them on Gilligan's Island. You know, there was always a band of gypsies, somebody coming through. Yeah, I dug it.
I've always enjoyed them, and I would like to be a part of them. Is all I'm saying. I feel like they should be talked about more in positive terms.
Yeah,
Right,
don't
right.
they? What,
I like what they
weren't
do.
they always on a sitcom? Y'all are younger than me, but always on a sitcom in a kind of a covered wagon with stuff hanging off of it.
Gunsmoke?
Yeah.
Gunsmoke. There
Was
were
it?
gypsies coming through Gunsmoke.
That was a guess.
Mm-hmm.
Probably
Bonanza?
though. Bonanza.
Bonanza.
There was
Look it
probably
up.
a bunch of gypsies.
Yeah. Bonanzas. That's such a funny name for a TV show. What does that mean? Does that mean something, or they just made it up?
Bonanza?
Yeah.
Doesn't
know.
it mean like an extravaganza, like a party?
Oh, it does?
I thought so.
Bonanza.
What would that mean for them, though?
I mean, they had a good time.
Yeah.
Well, there was a restaurant, Bonanza,
Yeah.
and then they lived on the Ponderosa, which is also a restaurant. I think they changed the name from Bonanza to Ponderosa, the restaurant.
What does Bonanza mean? In context of that show,
I'll look it
Yeah,
up.
I don't know. It's a good name for a TV show, Bonanza.
I don't know, but
You
from
watching Bonanza?
It's a situation or event that creates a sudden increase in wealth, good fortune, or profits. So you struck oil or something like that.
Yeah.
well, they
Yeah,
were
Bonanza.
hoopty-doo people. They were
Yeah.
hoopty-doo ranch people.
Yeah.
there you go.
So there
They
you
had
go.
servants.
So it makes sense.
They had house.
Uh-huh. And there was a gypsy episode of Gunsmoke. You're
Yeah.
right.
There was. Oh,
right.
okay.
All right, talking about gypsies and slavery. So
Oh,
getting right
murder.
into it. You didn't have to say you're from Adams, Tennessee.
Y'all, is that a bad word?
No, I'm
Okay.
joking.
Okay.
I'm joking.
Oh, murder. I'm starting to sweat.
Oh, murder. We say murder all the time.
Do you?
Well, because comics murder. And so he's
Yeah.
murdering. So you say murdering. We say it nonstop.
I was killing.
killing, murdering,
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chad Ryden. I'm a big fan of Chad Ryden.
Yeah, we know Chad.
Nate, anti-Peyton Manning sentiment is something we have in common. I went to UT at the same time as Peyton. I ran into him on campus 2 or 3 more times, and every single time he acted like he was too cool for school, so my attitude toward him changed. I can't tell you the rest of this story without incriminating myself. I wish you all knew Chad Ryden, because that's beautiful. I just love that Chad. It's just, I can picture him.
Chad did something to Peyton that
Chad did something
probably would get him arrested.
that Peyton remembers and Chad remembers only. You think like we could get them two in a room together and Peyton would be like, or Chad would go, what took you so long?
Now, you're not anti-Peyton Manning in general.
No, I just wanted to fight him that day, but then he was a big.
Why? What happened?
They
I
beat
went to
Vandy.
UT.
When they beat Vandy,
Oh,
I just was like saying I wanted.
You ran into him at Gus's Deli. and
Yeah, and then he was big. He had a center with him. So he had someone to help protect him, so I wouldn't fight him.
Oh, you really
Yeah.
wanted to fight Peyton Manning?
We barely lost. He ran a stupid naked bootleg. Why would someone naked? And what do you say?
Naked.
A naked bootleg. Dead gummit, Peyton.
I've met Cooper, but I've never met Peyton.
Oh.
Cooper introduced me at a UT thing.
Oh,
he
yeah?
was darling. Yeah, he was cute. We had a chemistry.
Oh.
Nothing unbiblical, but I mean,
Yeah,
we kind of had a chemistry.
yeah. you
Yeah,
Cooper.
and he was cute and fun, and we had a ball. And his brother owns part of the Graduate
Hotel chain.
hotel chain.
Yeah, his brother Eli.
Well,
Cooper,
yeah, Peyton's brother Cooper.
Peyton's
Oh,
brother, the oldest one, Cooper.
Yeah, there's 3.
Yeah, the one that didn't get to play.
Yeah,
but was a
he's
good ball
wildly
player.
successful.
Right.
Yeah, got hurt.
and it's got that boy Arch. It's a number one
Number
quarterback.
one quarterback.
Yeah.
Everybody's wondering where he's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm excited about him.
Yeah, that's fun. I bet he doesn't go to Tennessee.
You
don't
think he
think?
will?
I don't think he goes to anywhere they want him to go. Why did Eli went to Ole Miss? Like Ole Miss seems like it runs a little bit. Peyton was the outlier, right? To kind of go to Tennessee. They're kind of Ole Miss people. And I could see him going somewhere else just to be like, why do you want to go? You're chasing this name. Like maybe you want to be like, I'm going to go do my own thing.
Yeah, go to Vandy. Blaze your own trail.
Do your own thing. Come to Vandy. Change Vandy. Why does he not come to Vandy? That would be dumb if he did it. Kai Patrick. Kai, K-A-I.
I think so.
Probably right.
Okay.
I studied Seinfeld in college. I even wrote a paper for a postmodernism class. The episode I focused on was the Lost in the Parking Lot episode. They cover a ton of postmodern theory throughout the show. It was the first sitcom that did not have any characters learn a lesson or be a better person from the experiences of the episode. Truly a genius show. There you go. What's postmodern mean?
I don't really know.
There you go.
I know. Let's Google that.
I'm learning.
Smart
Nick.
people listen to y'all.
Well, usually Aaron's our go-to guy.
Oh yeah, I think because our listeners
It means after modern.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody that listens to this is like doing real stuff, and
Working, doing.
and
But you
real-
could have excelled in college if that was a class.
if Kai was teaching it, I would be
Seinfeld.
Kai.
Postmodernism is a late 20th century style and concept in the arts, architecture, and criticism that represents a departure from modernism and has at its heart a general distrust of grand theories and ideologies, as well as a problematic relationship with any notion of art.
So would comedians be postmodernism?
A lot of them are for
Because
sure.
we would have we have a problematic relationship with any notion of art. Like we don't ever consider ourselves in an art. Like if someone, if a comic was like, and sometimes you got to say it because you're doing an art. Like you are doing an art. It's an art.
Yeah.
But if you go, if a comic was like, I love my art, you would be like, well, you're the worst person that's ever existed. If a stand-up comic said that, I think I'm doing some of the best art I've ever done, I would throw up. And then I would assume that they're the worst comedian that's ever lived.
Right.
Leanne says that to me all the time.
It's an art that you make it up there. The audience has art, just they're, but like that's what I would think. So we are that. So that's why that would be like that, because the Seinfeld is Larry David are both that.
Mm-hmm.
We're not about art. We're not about. It's like just about being. We're being stupid. So
Right.
just let us be stupid. Don't take us. Comics, I don't think take themselves as seriously as other people do, like painters or whatever the other arts are.
Yeah.
Some people would say it's more of a science stand-up comedy because we have a formula for our jokes and we put stuff together.
Yeah, but then it would be recreated, and so it's hard to recreate. Like you do have a formula when you tell the jokes, but you can't because you're always looking for this system. Because then I can write I could write for the rest of my life if I can figure out the formula and the system to tell a joke. I'm good to go. I'll write an hour every day because it's like I would know the formula.
Mm-hmm.
It's so specific, the science. Like I don't think maybe you don't find it like you would find something in science. I guess some comics would be,
Yeah, sometimes it's set up punchline, tag.
I think it's more of a fit, like
Yeah.
I look at it as like more of a feel. Like I've learned like now where I'm at is you can tell stuff you say is funnier than it you just know how to say stuff funnier, and so more stuff you can talk about more stuff because it just becomes funnier. Because you know how to be funny, I guess, but you don't know how. You just, I don't know, it just happens.
sense it.
But I'm scared for it to go away every day. That's the best. I mean, I swear. Wake up every day and you're like, oh god, it could all be gone.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
It's over. I'll never think of another funny thing.
Oh yeah.
Just reading that, y'all reading that, I just shut down
the definition.
and thought, what are they saying? Are we going to talk about ice cream and cake?
Oh, there you go. You're going to fit in great for this podcast, Leanne.
Matt Hawkins. So I thought I would take a little inspiration from Nateland when I was asked to give our high school pep rally speech. I am the junior high assistant principal. So a bunch of that's like the Dwight in the office.
Yeah.
He's the
regional manager.
assistant to the original manager, the junior high assistant principal. So a bunch of these kids already didn't like me from past experiences. I thought I'd throw in some humor with a few tasteful jokes about our opponent during my speech. Turns out they didn't think I was nearly as funny as I think I am. It was total crickets, but I told them anyway. I have a newfound respect for what comics do. I will say, though, it was pretty great to find out what it feels like to bomb in front of 1,000 people. Man, that's great. Keep up the great work. Yeah, 1,000 people. That's tough. It's hard. It's hard to bomb in front of that many people. Brian, you probably have something to say on this.
Yeah, I'd say it's not even that hard.
Yeah.
I do it pretty easily.
Bombing in front of 1,000 people, it's tough though in front of 4 people. It's but
I just want to quit.
Oh God!
Call somebody and tell them you're quitting. Yeah.
1,000 people.
I had one of those shows this weekend. I called Leanne on the way home.
I know I was in bed with my husband.
Yeah.
And I said, we're watching a movie. And he goes, I need somebody to talk to.
It was bad. It was very bad.
Was that in Kentucky?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I won't get any further than that. But, they did not like me.
Yeah.
It was office Christmas party. It was one of those where they had no business booking a comedian. Nobody wanted it.
Yeah.
They had a guy drawing caricatures off to the side. They had on the other side one of these photo booths where you push the button to do a different backdrop. And everyone's having a great time until it's time for the comedian when they have to shut everything down and make everybody go sit down and listen to me talk to them for what was supposed to have been an hour.
Yeah. What'd you do?
40.
Yeah.
And I think everyone thought that was the right decision, including the lady who paid me.
Yeah. The character, when you got done, he drew you a picture of you bombing on stage. Like, that would have been unreal, dude. If he come in and he goes, I just felt like this.
I have a picture.
It's a picture of you sweating and everybody's just quietly, audience is asleep.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Those are tough. You got to do those. That's what it's about. When you do comedy in front of places that don't expect it. They don't expect it, and they don't want it.
Henry Joe, I worked with him this weekend. He said, whenever they say, don't worry, those people stick around for the raffle afterwards. That's when you know it's going to be a bad show.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
If there's a raffle.
If there's a raffle.
Or just anything where they have to bribe people to stay.
Yeah.
The raffle's keeping them there.
Yeah.
When you do colleges and they have free pizza, that's like, it's like, how's the crowd going to be? Pretty good. We're giving pizza out today. And you're like, oh. And the only reason you have an audience there is because they gave free pizza. And the kids don't, and they have no money, and they're that hungry that they're go sit through your comedy show.
See, I never, because I'm a mom, and nobody ever hired me to do colleges. I never went that route, and I always wondered what it was like. I always did horrible corporate private things, fundraisers, terrible. I have one that was at Christmas time in Pigeon Forge. It was people that owned cabins. It was before the economic downturn, and they were so wealthy, and they had all these cabins, and they had Cornish hen on the menu, and they asked me beforehand. They go, "Do you speak Spanish?" And I said, "No, I don't. Do you need me to get somebody who can?" Because I came from San Antonio, lived down there before I came back to Knoxville, and I said, I can find you if you want a Hispanic comic. I've got a bunch that I know that would be great. And she was like, no, they need to learn English anyway. And I get there, and precious Guatemalan people. And little women with babies standing in the back, rocking a baby, and did not know one thing I said. And then a few of the people that were English speaking that felt very uncomfortable. And then so I went through that, sweat bullets, probably got done in a short amount of time. Then a man stood up and told everybody about Jesus.
Yeah.
And that was, and in a real hateful way, not in a loving, sweet way, about sweet Jesus, but mean way.
threatening?
Yeah, you're all going to hell
Yeah.
if you don't accept
Well,
Jesus.
they should hear it. They need to learn English. They should know where they're going. Yeah.
He had some hair tips. And then they let me go. But I tell you, I think, and Brian we talked about this. I think at Christmas parties, maybe you should just have music, somebody playing a guitar, something universal for everybody that everybody can enjoy.
I agree.
Guatemalans don't want to hear about me. My kids doing on a t-ball field. It was that long ago. It was that kind of material.
I mean, they're in Pigeon Forge. Why are they,
Yeah.
Don't you know that scared those precious people half to death?
I love that. Well, they didn't learn it anyway. That's such a funny thing. Well, all right. Do you speak Spanish? And then just the hassle of trying to get another Spanish speaking comic. It's like they should learn to speak our language anyway. All right, we'll do it. Yeah,
We'll
show's
use
on.
you.
And
Yeah.
I wanted it so bad. I had a terrible gut feeling when they said they needed to learn English anyway. I had a terrible gut feeling, but I needed the money and I
Right.
needed the gig.
Mhm.
And the whole time I thought, what am I doing here? But anyway, that was years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if those people are still in business. Anyway,
They're what was I going to say? I don't know what I was going to say. I'll move on.
I'm doing a Christmas party this Wednesday.
Congrats.
and it'll
Thanks,
be so fun.
What?
It's funny the way you said
Yeah.
That sounded sarcastic.
it.
No. Congratulations.
Congrats.
It'll be fun.
Aaron. Yeah. It'll be a good time.
Hopefully
Tim-
they'll be drunk.
Yeah. Tim Agee. Tim Agee. I'm a preacher and listening to Nate's comedy advice about putting yourself into the joke instead of making it generic really jumped out to me. I found the same thing is true on the impact of personal sermon illustrations and getting across the point you're trying to make. I had to slow down on the. It's like driving through a speed bump. It was like personal sermon illustrations. If you turn it into a generic situation, you lose people's attention. But if you tell it with all the pertinent details, you are much more likely to keep people engaged. Keep up the great work. Such a wonderful podcast. There you go.
Sweet Tim.
I know.
Sweet.
That's what we do. We change lives on here. He's up there just rambling about who knows.
I know.
And the
You
other day
told
I
him how
saw-
to reach people.
Yeah, he goes, the other day, there's a bunch of people not in here, but out there going to hell. And he goes, you know what? You're going to hell. He made it specific. He goes, you. And they go, me? And he goes, no, lean over. You.
Scoot over.
Yeah,
I got
scoot
it.
over it. You. And then everybody's like, everybody listens.
He personalized
He
it.
personalized it. Yeah. You guys know I've been talking about this other church that doesn't get it. Guys, it's you. He just starts really going hard on his own church. Every week y'all hear me talking about this church, and you're like, man, that's such a bad church to go to. Well, it's always been about you, and I just never personalized it. But I've been watching Nateland, and I got a lot of problems with you people. It's time you hear it. What is
Yeah. Jerry.
Frank?
Frank Costanza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Festivus.
Yeah.
Got a lot of problems with you people. My voice still. All right. Pat Rick, how do you feel about comics having openers that they don't like in order to make themselves look better? I always feel like that's such a bad thing to do to your fans. I'll tell you what, it's hard to find one that's good. I look everywhere.
I have two people at this table that do that with me.
Because I want them to be good so bad, and they're just it's just hard. Anyway, no, I agree. I bring good. I believe bring comics that are good, that I believe are good, that make it hard for me. I want it to be hard to follow. I want it to be. You don't want to clean up the mess. I mean, when people bomb, and you're like, dude, I wouldn't bring someone that bombed, because it would be. I have to change that energy that you put out. I know I always heard there was some comics that would do it, but I don't know if they intentionally bring someone. I mean, sometimes if you're bringing an opener, you've been doing it long enough, it's going to be just hard to be. It's probably compete people with your friends with, or like some comics just have one guy. I know Carlin had a comic, that same guy that opened for him. He was just a very different act than Carlin. But it was like they were buddies and they were always on the road everywhere. So it was like they took him. But I think it's good to, Chris Rock did it when he took people. And I'm not saying because I was a part of it, but he took like Hannibal out, Anthony Jeselnik. I went out. Like he took all the comics that we were all kind of headlining on our own. And he wanted to see if his stuff could follow. Because we're going up and doing 10, 15 minutes and just murdering because it's so you do want to go. I think it makes you a better comic. I think it'll make you a worse comic if you've got someone bad, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I had to dig myself out of a hole recently. Not you, Brian.
Yeah.
Not you, because you do a wonderful job and you set me up wonderfully. But I had to make a quick decision and had some fallout, and so I had to get somebody, and they were not ready. They were not ready for a big theater.
Yeah.
For that many people. And you really, somebody said this the other day, and I think it's true. You kind of need a headliner to open at these big, beautiful theaters and arenas.
Yeah.
You really need a headliner to open.
Yeah. Someone that can really do the act. Like that is very good. That can keep their attention. Because when people are there to really see one person, they want to see that person. That's why I usually bring a couple people, but they've all been on the podcast, and I like it because it's like they're getting, people are following them outside of this. And some of it's like you just want people to see these other comics that are good and being like, just to be like, hey, here's some guys you can watch. Here's some comics I bring out with me. And then so they get to see them. But yeah, you got to bring people that can do good.
And know what they're doing. How much time are they both doing?
I think everybody does 10, maybe. If it's Vecchione, he does 15 sometimes, but me and Mike kind of started together. He's been doing comedy for a very long time. So it's like, if you bring someone that, Vecchione's headlining on if you bring some guys like that, you'll be, 10 to 15. Yeah. And so if I have two, I'll each do 10. Or if like we had 3, in Cleveland, and they each did 10. So it's like, it's always going to be somewhat around 25 to 30 minutes before. And then I go up and I usually do like around an hour. So the actual show time is hour 30, hour 40, which is what you should do. And then usually you start late. So just because it takes people a long time to get in, it's like a 2-hour thing.
Yeah.
Probably when it's all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
I've been going way too long, haven't I, Brian?
No. You've been going longer than you need to. I mean, now that people
It's
are
the same
bored.
thing.
I don't know. I've been doing like an hour and 20. An hour
an hour 20 is good. I want to do an hour 15. I just haven't built myself up to go that long yet. I'm still but that's a goal I'm working on, is trying to get to an hour and 15. I do it. Right now I can do 60. I've done 65. But I'm trying to make myself get to an hour. Like the way I write is like, I just kind of come up with the hour, and then it's hard for me to, I could add stuff if I'm trying to get over the time.
Yeah.
But, I look at it as like, I'm just trying to make that hour, but I want to start doing like an hour 15, just me. And whether it's this tour or not, it'll be an hour maybe a little bit over an hour, but then eventually I want to after the next special, it's like, all right, let's really try to be an hour 15, hour 20 maybe. And then you just maybe bring 2 comics, they each do 10. And then
How do you feel about encores?
I don't do one. People think it's just, when I have done them, it's very weird. And I would do them I did them as a joke. Do you do them?
No, and he tells me all the time, why don't you come back out and do, because people want to hear.
She has some classics everyone wants to hear.
Yeah, I would go do that then.
But I'm scared that if I say, good night, people get their pocketbook and start walking out. And then I come out and I go, wait a minute. I got a couple other things I'd like to run by you.
Mm-hmm.
I was always scared of that too. But if you keep the lights down, they usually expect it to be.
Right.
There's ways to signal that something else is going to happen. Like I have them bring the lights up. and I have, to be like, go. Flash says, it's it.
Okay.
No, I don't say
Well.
that, but I'm joking. Here you go. I go, get on out of here now. I have it. I did do them. You know what I started doing when I was doing encores? The problem too is I can't. Well, some of the jokes they want to hear, the Starbucks and that kind of stuff, I can't remember. But when I was doing it, I would just say like, I would do my last joke, and then I would be like, all right, that's it. It's something. Good night. I'm gonna do an encore. I'd make fun of the idea of going over there and standing and coming back. I would just make fun of the idea of the encore, and then I'd go, so here's your encore, and then I would just stay out there the whole time. And so I would do that, and I would get a laugh and all that. But weirdly enough, you need to be out there. Like can be a safety net, especially if you do it like that. Now, if you walk off stage, it's not a safety net. But when I was doing it that way, it's like there's kind of a safety net there because it's like I'm not closing on the thing that I need to be able to leave on my act. That joke needs to be good enough for me to leave on. If I'm not giving it the pressure that it needs, which is what kind of, maybe I'll do this if I don't have a good closer and I do need to close with some old stuff. It's like I'm trying to make sure I can get out on the high note that I need to get out on. But you sometimes got to just get out on that last joke because you got to make sure that last joke is good enough for you to get out on. Because otherwise you can kind of skate by and then just be like, all right, and here's some old stuff, and like, you want it to be like it's obvious. I think the joke I have in now is like where it feels like it's like, yeah, that's it. That's the end of the show. Like, you want the joke to feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can walk off, come back.
Well, I don't know what to do. And also, I mean, I have just one person go with me. Mm-hmm. But we're flying and, we're not on a bus. But there's shows coming up where there's 2 a day. And the logistics, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm not going to be able to get there. And so I may have to rent a bus. And then I'd have bunk beds. I was telling the people I was meeting with today, they go, would you like a back bedroom with your husband? I'm like, oh, no. I don't want to have to, do nasty stuff. And ride down the road and fix chicken salad. I mean, I can't be doing all that, and then be funny and get my girdle on and all that. I'd like to have bunks like you had where I can have my own space. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's when you can bring fun, all the people you love with when you've got a big bus. That's
what it's about. It's about bringing, you have a group out. It's fun to go around with your buddies. It's like you all relatively kind of come up together. You get to give back. You get to like, and then they do it and eventually they stop. They won't open anymore. They start headlining. It's like, that's just the way it goes. And it's the greatest thing ever. And I always think that shows to the audience to be like, that's what everybody's dream of is. And even if you're in the audience, you think if I made it, I always protect Entourage. That's why Entourage was such a great episode, a great series. Cause you always watch Entourage and you go, if I made it, I'd be them. I want to be them. It's like you do the cool stuff. You have the parties and celebrities, but at the end of the night, it's you and your boys and your buddies that you grew up with and the dudes that have known you your whole life they're the guys that you end up with at the end of the night. And that's what Entourage did and why I believe it was such a great show and such a hit show because it was like everybody could see themselves in that. It's not about, when someone's like, I talk to someone that's some celebrity and like, or they don't talk to anybody from their home. And then I'm like, you don't talk to anybody from high school? Mm-hmm. And they're like, no. And I'm like blown away. I'm like, why you wouldn't? That's almost all I talk to is like, you got your other friends that you meet in this industry. That's why I like this podcast, like having you on, like when we have other comics on or whoever. I usually bring someone on that I think the audience is like, you would be like, you will like this person. You could hang out with this person. Like that's what we want this to be. That's what your show should be. Your show should be like, you could come sit and eat with us, and it would be like we're just all hanging out. Because that's what. And when you give that, I think it shows. And and that's when you get on the bus, you start bringing people, and you're like, yeah, dude, this is how I would do it too. Because that's the dream. Yeah. Otherwise, you're like, nothing's real. You see two like celebrities talk. And I see like in there, you're like, what are they even talking about? They have nothing to talk about. Yeah. Some of them you meet, someone asked me that this weekend, they were talking about meeting like celebrities. And I was like, yeah, you meet some, man. And then you're like, and some of them you're like, yeah, it was really cool to get to meet them. But you're like, I don't want to like be friends with that person. Like it's, at the beginning, you're kind of like, can't believe that you're getting to meet them. And then as you get to meet people, you kind of then look at it like, well, the ones that I do talk to regularly, Eric Stone Street's a wonderful person.
Is he?
Yeah. And so Eric is us. He fits in with us. He would just be us hanging out. And then those are the ones that you become friends with. The ones that you're like, yeah, this dude gets it. Jason Sudeikis is like he's that's the kind of dude he is. He's just a good dude. So then you see that it's wonderful when you see them in Hollywood because you're like, y'all stuck to it. Y'all did what you're supposed to. Like you're just still who you are, and you're still hanging out. You know that they still talk to everybody at home just as much as they talk to Brad Pitt or something. I don't know, whoever. But I don't know Brad Pitt at all. But it's like whatever it is, and that's what I love that. Like that's and that's the ones that you end up becoming friends with because you're like, you kind of go like, oh yeah, dude, I could hang with you and like talk with you. We could trash talk. We could do whatever. It's like it feels fun and safe. It's not like there's some agenda or there's whatever.
Mm-hmm. And you felt that way, I'm sure, with Jeff Foxworthy.
And that's why you shouldn't bring your husband on the road. No.
Yeah. I just can't be doing all that. He would be wanting to touch
Foxworthy's the same way.
Jeff Foxworthy, I thought was precious, and it's like somebody I've known all my life.
If you met Jeff Foxworthy, you would like listening to this. If you're listening to this and you met Foxworthy, he's what you want him to be, and he's just gonna be like he's like polite, nice, makes a little joke. When we went out to eat, like so people recognized him and like they just know him, and he just wants to hang out, and, like talk comedy and like all the stuff that you do at the beginning. You just want to do that again. Jay Leno's like that. Jay Leno's like just a blue collar dude. These dudes get super successful. They have a ton of money, but they don't ever lose that. Like I don't think Jay ever he has all these cars. Like they do cool stuff because they can afford. They won the lottery, so they do that fun stuff. But like Jay's never gonna make you feel like he's better than you, and that's what attracts me to a lot of these people.
Yeah. Well, I haven't met a lot of people, but I thought that Jeff Foxworthy was precious. I have met some country music people, and for the most part, I think they're pretty down to earth country music people.
Yeah. A lot of them are like Shay. We had Shay on here from Dan and Shay. Shay's the best. But the ones that aren't, I would never hang out with them. Like I wouldn't have them on this podcast. Like, because it would be like, I don't know, like I'm not gonna be. You're just like some of them you got to be close with or something. Like I usually become close with them, and that's when it would be. Not that I wouldn't have someone on this podcast, but it's like I usually end up being close. Like I end up like you kind of end up like talking to them and like talk to them more than just like occasionally out and about, and then that's when that's like it works out. But yeah,
you've never brought anyone on just for an interview. It's always been your friends or people you personally like.
Yeah, and we get asked.
Yeah,
and it's always been just. And it's not against any of the people that I would. I'm not saying I will never. I don't know. I'm always open to like, maybe there's a time you're like, well, maybe I want to talk. Maybe if I think this guy is cool or
like
this person.
A Bigfoot expert that your sister used to work with.
Yeah. First guest, Augustine was our first guest. And then the second guest was like a guy that worked with my sister. So, I mean, it's, then we've had you. And now you're selling out the rhyme. Like, it doesn't matter. We have whoever. It's like if we can get along with them. So, yes, some people will be people that I think maybe I'll be like, yeah. There's someone I've been talking to that's like, I don't really know. I just known her for a little bit, but like she might come on and, but I just go off like if I think I could, like, they be cool. And if I don't think they can be cool and I could like hang out with them or it'd be too like weird, then they won't come on. Because they'll just be weird. And it's like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want only people that people could hang out with. That's what I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
I should make that into a t-shirt. Well, I had a podcast called Sweaty, and I hate to say this ugly word on here because I know that pastors are watching, but sweaty and pissed.
Oh my God.
I know.
What is good night?
Yeah, and that's a cuss word in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sweaty and
we're gonna be on
menopause and more.
We're gonna have your episode's gonna be the only episode that has like that PG-13
explicit warning.
Explicit warning. You're gonna send us into a new category of just
But we were in Knoxville. We never had any kind of nifty guest on or It was just us talking about women's menopause.
Yeah.
But I always thought, oh, I'd love to have somebody, famous and talk about their menopause. But nobody wanted to do. We did talk to John Reap, and I know y'all just had him.
Yeah.
John Reap came on and talked about his testosterone lowering, and we had a ball.
Yeah.
And he was darling and very upfront and very real about how. And he bought something at Walgreens, and it got better.
I don't even know. How do you know if it goes down? Do you got to get tested or something?
If you're hateful, if you start getting hateful and irritated, that can be low testosterone in a man.
It's not looking good, Nate.
And
I'm frustrated by this conversation. Yeah.
and you feel like you're losing some muscle tone a little bit. And but by the time men are 50, they have half of what they had at 25.
Yeah.
And you can get supplements and just rev it all back up. Or, playing tennis, being active, exercising helps it come back up naturally. Yeah. But anyway, that's the only, and I'm not the medical person.
Oh, I've got tested years ago. Mine's been low. I've done the whole gauntlet.
Yeah.
Mine was off the charts low.
Yeah.
Was it, my darling?
I took supplements for a while, but those are dangerous. They can lead to some other
did
stuff.
they give you synthetic? Now, see, they have bioidentical that's not bad.
I don't know if mine was bioidentical or just identical.
Synthetic
I don't know.
They go, when you were,
difficult.
When they looked at yours, they go, look, when you were born, we weren't starting from a great spot. Like just out of the gate, let's go ahead and say we were not ideal. And so you're like, all right, well, let me know where I'm at now. You go, now? He goes, I don't know if you've never felt the top of the top.
We want to send you to Harvard to be studied.
Yeah. You've never. They would be like, have you ever punched a man? You're like, I've slapped a cat before. And you're like, see, this is what I mean. It's like stuff like that. Like you've never.
There is some truth to that. Because it does lead to aggression and stuff like that. The working out part, that's debatable whether that means anything. Some doctors say that doesn't help, but some say it does, especially if you're competitive. To be a man, that does help raise lifting weights, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, Chuck Morgan, my nurse practitioner that I did that podcast with, she said his has gone back up, Leanne, from playing tennis every day, and he's competitive and wants to rip somebody's throat out. And he's got plenty of testosterone. Just let me say that. And it was a real drag when that went back up because he's lowered a little bit just because it's natural. It just happens, But anyway, John Reeves, the only fun person we had on. I think we may have had other guests, but nothing like people I've played golf with that have got number one hits. Yeah. It's not those kind of people.
Well, we've got a lot of medical issues at this table right now. I have gout.
Yeah.
Gout.
Brian had a stroke 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Nate has diabetes.
I think we have type 2 diabetes.
You think you have type 2 diabetes?
Someone wrote in, and I don't see why they would lie to me about it. So
he also has dyslexia.
I have dyslexia.
Oh, I forgot about that.
We haven't got that tested.
But Cher's got that, and Tom Cruise. Cher and Tom Cruise. I mean, that's not a big deal.
Good.
Yeah. That means you compensated from the dyslexia and became this artist.
Yes. I'm an artist.
Stand up.
You're an artist.
You know what? I am. I'm gonna be the one that says the art. Someone showed a picture of Cher from the 70s or something until now, and she looks the same. It was crazy. Like she's just the exact same. Like it was. It was like 50 years. Like it was.
I bet she's not eating white flour and sugar. I can tell you right now, she's not eating white flour and sugar.
You don't think?
She doesn't have type 2 diabetes.
I think that stuff makes you age, and I'm eating it. And
her hair changed, but that's it.
Look at her nipples.
Oh my gosh! Sorry,
that's a thing.
Sorry, I didn't see what was going on in that picture. My bad, everybody.
You and Leanne on the same side of the table.
I know we're getting filthy over here.
That little Sonny, God love him. God rest his soul. Had that ski accident.
I do the bad news on this show, Leanne. I'm the one.
When did
do y'all snow ski?
15 years ago,
tried.
maybe 20 years ago.
Never done it.
Oh, you got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to do it. Snow ski? Y'all haven't?
My wife does it. I've only done I did lessons and I never left off. I never, it was as I was on was like the flat of this table. Like I never, even went down.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it. I've gone for years because my husband loves it and we wanted our children to enjoy it, but I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I encourage other people who have little children to get them in it because it is good for little
Fun
children.
for kids. Yeah.
I like to watch people, that are in Prada outfits and wonder who are these people. It's that kind of
Are y'all good at it?
sport. Chuck Morgan is and does double blacks and all that.
Yeah.
And my son loves all that.
Well,
And
you
my
guys-
girls do.
You
some.
guys come from money, and that's a very money thing.
We do not. We're
He goes,
mobile home people.
Yeah. Leanne Morgan, the old, so you inherited a lot of money, Leanne. You come from.
Oh, you said
We
he got-
get our ski stuff from a consignment store, and Chuck makes us stay in a real bad looking apartment, and we buy all of our groceries, and I cook just like I'm the hell, and we don't stay ski out. He makes us ride a shuttle and carry all that up a mountain. And then you got to ski all day to get our money's worth out of it. It's work. It's so hard. So hard.
And he makes y'all train, right?
Well, we don't. But he says, nobody's coming back unless somebody's doing some lunges and squats. I've had it. Because you really have got to be in good shape to do it.
Yeah. Oh. John Fletcher. I appreciate when a comic gives an in-the-moment real chuckle at their own jokes. I've always heard comics aren't supposed to do that. What do you guys think? You don't mind it if it's real. It's when it's not real is when I mind it. So that's the answer.
Are people out faking that?
Oh yeah. I mean, oh yeah. It's nonstop. How can you laugh at your own joke that you've said 1,000 times?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could laugh I will laugh if I hear someone in the crowd and I can hear that I've got them laughing. Like I'll laugh that I can't believe they're laughing that hard.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the only time I'd really laugh. And it's not like there's no emotion in the joke, but it's just my job is to tell the jokes. It's not I shouldn't be laughing at myself. But if you ever see someone up there that's like, hold on, I can't get through this joke, y'all go that's not real. There's no way that's real. It happened once, maybe real. And then they kept going.
Do y'all have this going through your mind? I'm not laughing at my own jokes. I'm thinking, am I worthy? And what am I doing? Should I have become a therapist?
Yeah.
I go through my mind. Are you in your mind thinking,
Oh, yeah.
did I leave the iron on? I mean, I've had conversations with myself,
Yeah.
but I try not to.
Not
every
to.
night.
Be in the moment.
Not every night. I try to be in the moment.
You got to try to be in the moment. That's something you got to work on. I used to be really bad at it. I'm getting better at it. But after the Tennessee Kid, I was really bad at it. I would catch myself I would be on another planet.
Autopilot, right?
And but I've consciously now try to really not do that and really be in it. You have jokes placed and you got to think of what you're excited to, what jokes you're excited to get to. I go off what I feel like I like in my act. Like now, right now, I'm pretty lucky that there's maybe a spot or two that I'm not excited to get to. Overall, I'm kind of excited to get to everything where I'm kind of like, oh, this will be fun. And this, I'm excited to tell this part and this part. And that's what you want. And then when you can feel it though, when you're like, I'm not excited to get to that and I don't like it. And it could be a good joke that works, but you just for some reason don't like it.
Yeah.
That's all right. And sometimes you got to just be like, all right, well, I need to make myself like that. I don't make myself like it. I need to make the joke where I like it. And then if I like it, it's going to be better for the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Is what
I think because I'm going through this whole mind thing of things of being more successful and being so thankful for that. And it's a blessing from heaven. But at the same time, I think I'm in the stage of, is this real? Am I real? I've been doing this 22 years, but can I do it? Am I worthy? So I go through all that. And then Josh Wolf called me. And when he was at the height of Chelsea on TV, he said, Leanne, I remember being just fearful it was going to go away. And don't live in that. Yeah. And then he said, you got to remember this. Every night you go out there. And I thought this was so sweet. And not to sound arrogant, but he said this. He goes, Leanne, you're somebody's George Strait.
Yeah.
You're somebody's been saving up that ticket and has come to see you, and you're there, George Strait.
Yeah.
They've been waiting and you're there big, and I thought, what? But I know that, that excited me and I thought, oh my gosh, I've got to be the best I can be for these precious people.
Yeah.
Right.
That's another. Hey, you're from Adams tent. Most people say Derek Jeter or something.
Well, Josh Wolf said George Strait.
Yeah.
He really did.
Who did?
Maybe Josh Wolf did. Maybe
Yeah.
he's thinking that
Yeah.
would be my not that I'm
He
against.
goes, how do I
resonated,
talk? How do I
huh?
talk to this lady
Yeah.
from the middle of nowhere? Imagine
Farming
you're
people.
someone's Walmart. They can't. When a Walmart goes to a new town, they can't believe it's there. You're their Walmart.
Well, and they should have said you're their Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's who I would have loved.
Oh,
Yeah, Earth, Wind, and Fire, or Prince,
Yeah, they. You do got to
or
remember
Bargain
that.
Hunt.
It is good to. It is good to always remember that, but you don't want to. You lose it. It's not about. I've switched now. It's almost not losing. I don't want to lose the audience. So like I don't want to. It's. And it's, I guess if you, there is, but my fear now is not, I don't think it's as being funny. Maybe it is about like, it's daunting to think like, I got to tape this special and I've got to have a new hour. Like it's very daunting to always think, well, how am I going to come up with a new hour? But there's also, now it's like, how can I make sure it's better than the one that I did? How can I do that? And so that's the thing that's daunting. And how do you keep this audience? How do I, so it's not almost like it's not inward, it's outward. We're going like, well, how do I make you stay? How do I know that you want to come back here? And I make sure that I give you the time that I think you deserve as an audience. You should be able to come and have a great time. And so that's the fear now is almost losing them. And that's what you don't.
Oh my God, that's a lot of fear coming, and I got
But
fear
that-
now.
I know, but that fear is just like it's excitement and work.
Yeah.
It's the excitement of the work
And
of
you
it.
use that instead of fear being like, oh my gosh, that scares
Well,
me
if I
to
didn't
death.
care, then I would hate these people.
But that's more of like
Motivation.
fuel for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's like, when you see someone that like performs and they hate their audience, that's insane to me. Like, why would you ever create something where you hate your audience? And there's a lot of people do that.
That
And
hate their audience.
They don't like what they represent. They don't like what they do. They don't like, who's coming to see them. They don't think, because they don't want to be them. Where I look at every audience and I am you. You're not, when I talk to people afterwards, I'm like, I can't believe they're talking to me. I can't believe, I'm like, I don't know. It's like some of them, it's like, you're just like, I'm all of you. Like, you're not, you're my parents. You're y'all would be just coming to our house for Thanksgiving. Like, you're us. You're no different than any of us. And so when you see that, you're like, well, I don't want to lose that. And so the fuel is to being like, I've got to impress them. It's not impressing. You want this other stuff, obviously being Grammy nominated, like all this kind of stuff. You want all that stuff, but it's about impressing those audience that they're the reason you even get to live a life that you get to live. That's why I never assume people hate them, because you're like, the only reason you get to think, the only reason you get to think you're better than them is because of them. Because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't. You would be where you are. But because you get rich and people get famous and they get out of touch with stuff, they think they're better than their audience. And I don't think it's everybody, but I do think it's way more than, it's more than you think. I think.
Oh my Lord. Because his mama came to my show in
did.
Pensacola, and she was
She
precious.
thinks she's better than you. That's what.
Aaron told us that.
Aaron told us that.
Yeah.
She probably thought, I didn't know her butt was that big.
Yeah.
Leanne's butt looks awful large lately. But no, I know what you're talking about, and I see him out in the audience, and I think, oh my gosh, every town, I think I would be your best friend.
Oh, yeah.
We would be going and doing. We'd be going to TJ Maxx and then to Jazzercise and having a ball.
Yeah.
And they're precious, and they send me. You won't believe the cookies I've gotten for Christmas, and they. Dewey's, sent me a big box and toffee, and my kids are like, "Wait, what?" And things for my grandbaby, and
Yeah, you can't believe
Precious.
people want to send you something.
oh,
crazy.
just I want your grandbaby to have a new blanket.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could bawl my eyes out.
Yeah.
That's where mine. I don't feel worthy, and I feel like I need to go and clean people's houses. That's what every show I think. Look at these darling people. I need to vacuum their car out as they're leaving.
Yeah.
God love them. Why me?
Well, you want to give
how
them
precious.
Yeah.
Right.
You want to give them something more than just the ticket, because you think like it's not worth this.
Yeah.
Like you can't think that you're buying. You're like, we should like make. I should give everybody like something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like just because, and you can't, but it's like, but that's why you want to make the show as good as it can be. Cause you're like, well, the only thing I can control and that I can do is to make sure that you are like, when people their face hurts from laughing. You're like, that's what I can give you. And so I need to make sure I can continue to do that. And that's what you do too. And that's good.
Thank you, Nate.
That's why you bring Brian on the road. It's easy to follow.
But tell him, Brian, tell him about these precious women. Are they darling or what?
They're very darling. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
They bring recipes and stuff like that.
And they're so tickled about
You
him
got-
having a baby.
I don't know. When you go out, you're like, look at all these young ladies out there. like you go out, you're like, oh, these are pretty hot women out there.
Yeah. I do think my age helps because, they identified with me more than, say, if
Oh,
you took a
yeah.
20-year-old.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I do get I'll get a grandmother, somebody 80 with somebody my age, 50, and then their college-age daughter
Mhm.
or 20-year-old daughter.
So they
So
wanna
I
go
get a
somewhere
lot of
together.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
They can
Yeah.
go and, so there's some young women out there, and I think, oh, God, love them.
Yeah, there's
I
no
need
one,
to give
like you
them
said, like, there's no
makeup.
one really doing what you're doing. And so that's the positive, and that's the good thing. And and you're seeing the demand of it to be, people talk about like, even like, it's an idea of being clean. It's like, it's not about, you could just a competitive point. Why would you not be clean? If you have, I don't care if you hate any reason by being clean or not being religious, and the reason just competitively, why would you not do it? That's what I don't understand. Why would you not? You're competing against, your competition is pretty low versus everything else is not. So just competitively or artistic, as we make fun of, you want to be artistic. It's like, just do it the other way just for that.
Yeah.
Just to be like, well, I want to sound different than everybody else. And that could be your reason. Helix. If you are, this is not about Helix, the all form, but if they do if you've been listening to the show for a while, you've probably heard me talk about our Helix mattress. We have a mattress in there.
Oh.
All the comics sleep on it. If you ever need to sleep on it,
Oh.
Joel and drive back to Knoxville.
I did sleep on one of y'all's beds one time.
Yeah.
Was that the
Oh, that's
Helix?
right. Yeah. You did.
Oh,
Because
my
after we got
gosh.
home real late on the bus, and then y'all left the next morning. Well, Helix has left the bedroom, started making sofas and more. They just launched a new company called Allform, and they are already making the best sofas we've seen. We have one here. It's the easiest way you can customize a sofa using premium materials and at a fraction of the cost. You can pick a fabric, which is spill, stain, and scratch resistant, the color of the legs, sofa size, and shape to make sure it's perfect for you and your home. Allform sofas are also delivered directly to your home with fast, free shipping. Sofas can take weeks or months to arrive, and you need someone to put it together. Allform takes just 3 to 7 days to arrive, and you can assemble it yourself. No tools are needed. For the office, we have the sand fabric, the armchair with the sand fabric with the natural wood legs. I love it. I said this where Laura yells at me. I sit in that chair and she yells at me.
Oh my gosh, I've never
I know, it's
heard of that.
crazy.
That is wonderful.
Her-
That you it's
Laura
spill
yelling,
proof.
you should stick around.
Oh,
To find your perfect sofa or chair, check out allform.com/Nate. And Allform is offering 20% off all orders and for our listeners at allform.com/Nate, ALLFORM.com/Nate for your new favorite sofa. 20% off all orders at allform.com/Nate. And HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients, seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Have you ever used HelloFresh?
I love it.
Yeah.
I have used it and I love it.
It's great.
It is.
It's
very simple, good food.
easy to make.
Mhm.
Dave, you've
Yep.
cooked. You've
Well,
I
my
know.
wife has. Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
I
your
did.
wife did it. You didn't
I
do
know.
it. You did yours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Had some nice burgers.
You can do it on your own.
Mhm.
It is America's #1 meal kit. You heard us talk about Green Chef. Green Chef is now owned by HelloFresh, and with a wider array of meal plans to choose from, there's something for everyone. We love switching between the brands, and now our folks can enjoy both brands at a discount with Nateland. HelloFresh is 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal of the same quality, and you can save on an average over $65 per month when you order HelloFresh instead of grocery shopping. That's more money to put towards those other 2022 goals that you have. It is better to eat at home than not go out. I'm learning that, and I eat out too much. This could be my type 2 diabetes. I could probably get them down.
Uh-huh.
We're not sure
The
if I have them.
sodium. It's no telling
you know?
out. I know.
We have been using HelloFresh for 5 years or more now. It helps us cut out stressful meal planning. It's hard to decide what you want to eat. My wife never knows what, it's always like, what are we going to eat? My wife hates deciding what you want to eat. Well, this just gives you just point, and she lets me point, and I pick a picture. Isn't that great?
It's great.
Go to HelloFresh.com/Nate16 and
Like
use
a
code.
monkey.
Yeah, that is. That's how I do it. She goes, lays it out. She goes, which one of these do you want? I point at it. I mean, it's, and I want
And
that.
do they still have like paleo or keto?
Yeah, they do
or
all that stuff.
dairy free, whatever.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Go to HelloFresh.com/Nate16 and use code Nate16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That is HelloFresh.com/Nate16 and use code Nate16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. And finally, Solo Stove. I don't know if you've seen one of these.
Oh, honey, I bought one for my boy, Charlie, and he had wood burning in it for my grandbaby's birthday camping theme birthday party yesterday.
Oh, nice.
And that Solo Stove is wonderful, and he
Yeah.
loves it. They camp and they have it at home.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's going to get a bigger one to go in the yard
Look at
and
this.
put Adirondacks around it.
Wow.
He loves it
Yeah.
because he builds a fire all the time, but that's smokeless, right?
Smokeless. It's
Ah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
love them.
They need you to sign.
These are the best ad reads.
When I
know.
believe
I know.
in something, I can sell it. And I
Yeah.
believe in that. I bought it for Christmas last year. They've loved it.
Because it's no smoke. And that's
No
what makes it the
smoke.
best.
And
Yeah.
people did s'mores on it yesterday. Had a ball.
Yesterday.
Yesterday,
You-
at my grandbaby's first birthday party, camping inside theme.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they used
And he
it.
was beautiful.
I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and they
That's-
did s'mores with a Reese's cup, which I thought was a good idea, and a big
Oh,
marshmallow. And then they also did a Hershey's, little candy bar
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it over that freaking Solo
Solo stove.
stove.
It's good. I love that you love it. It's just easy to do, easy to set up, no smoke. It's the greatest thing ever.
I know.
You know?
Yeah. They're cute. They look
Yeah,
nice.
They look nice. The fire looks amazing.
Yeah.
This is the best ad read we've
I know,
ever had
this
by
is
far.
incredible.
It does. Yeah.
And you know what I think I'm going to buy him? I did buy him some accessories, but I'm going to get him the stand. He's got the top.
Yeah.
And you can get the grate and you can grill on it because they
Oh.
camp all the time.
Yeah. You can grill on.
Well, you got that grate, and you can put
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, this is
We are learning about
This is
solo stove.
unbelievable.
it's great. It's their yeah, I mean, I love that they offer a lifetime warranty and 30-day free return policy, but you're not going to need it. Right? 'Cause you don't think
You will love it.
You will love it. Let the gifting begin. Shop Solo Stove's holiday sale for huge site-wide savings now through the end of the year and get $10 off with promo code Nate plus a lifetime warranty and free 30-day returns. Get an extra $10 off holiday deals at solostove.com, promo code Nate. That was the best ad read.
Oh, good. I love all those things.
Yeah. Yeah, I like them all too.
I can't believe that bunch of people can make a couch that quick and send it to you. Isn't that
that's crazy.
wonderful?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Because it does. It takes now because of this COVID.
Uh-huh.
It takes 30 weeks to get a sofa.
Right.
Oh,
If you go to
crazy.
COVID started. I ordered one. It took me about 7 months to get it, and I'd forgotten about it by the time it showed up.
Forgot
I was
about a
like,
couch.
Yeah, because it had been that long ago, dude.
Can you imagine
It's exciting.
just just think about growing up. And if my parents ordered a couch, there was a chance my dad would go, "Oh, that's right. I forgot we ordered maybe the most important thing inside the home."
That ever happened.
It was 7 months, and there was a lot going on in the world. You know what
And
I mean?
then what? So what were you sitting on? You weren't reminded.
We had an
of
old
anything?
beat up couch.
Yeah.
We just wanted to get a new one to replace the old one.
And then when it came, you were like,
We were like, "This is the best day of all
Yeah.
time, dude." Yeah.
"Who's at the door?"
It's
So you thought?
two big dudes with a.
I know, but you
Did
thought
they
that
call
as it
before
rang
they
the-
were coming?
They did call that. They
Oh.
called that day.
And they said, "We're coming to your couch," and you go, "What?"
Yeah,
There's a
we got the
couch.
couch. I was like, "Oh yeah, dude!"
Yeah.
I was so excited.
Is
Yeah.
it performance fabric?
I don't know. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
That means that if
Those
y'all
shows.
do have babies or that cat scratches or vomits on it, that you can just wipe it off.
Oh, it's definitely not that.
No.
Because it's all.
That cat owns that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. People love to come over and sit on it.
I need an all for him, dude.
Huh?
I need an all for
I
him.
mean, you do. Yeah, when you go
Yeah.
to someone's house and there's just cat hair everywhere or dog hair,
Mhm.
and you're like, "Come on, man!" And they're like, "Just sit down." You're like, "Are you aware?" I don't think people are aware.
No,
when they're
they're
dog
not.
when they walk out and there's cat and dog hair all over them,
Yeah.
and then you just see them out, and you're like, do you not? I mean, are you even see what's going on?
Mm-mm.
And they're like, why don't you do it at my house? Because it smells like a dog pound. If you at least address it,
And the food tastes like dog
yeah,
or
They
like
f-
dog smell.
they feed it to us in bowls.
But Brian, your house doesn't feel that way with that little bitty Hazel.
Well, she doesn't shed.
Yeah.
And this, y'all have got
I
a
mean, she's as big
non-shed
as this
thing.
cup too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ours
Your
is
little
not-
dog doesn't
yeah.
shed.
No, Holly doesn't. Yeah. Well, now they're
Mm.
genetically making dogs to be perfect, so
Yeah.
you're not supposed to buy a dog like that.
We got our cat from a sewage drain.
Yeah, did you? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It sheds everywhere, dude.
Did the sewage drain? Did they put it up for adoption, or was I was going to say what's the?
Was it abandoned?
It was, yeah. It was found. It was found in the alley.
You found it?
And no,
It was an alley cat.
somebody found it in an alley in downtown Nashville.
I think where it probably was thriving.
You think?
Some reason I feel like cats do really well.
I feel like it's got a pretty good life now, but it
Oh,
was
it's got an
probably
amazing
it was
life,
probably
yeah.
doing okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just feel like cats. Alley cats are just such a thing that you're like. I think they.
Well, we talked about Disney World, how those feral cats just live there.
Yeah.
Come out at night. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Is this a female or a male?
It's a male.
Oh, then
cat.
yeah, he was having a big time downtown Nashville.
Yeah,
Doing horrible,
Bachelorette parties.
horrible Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, down at Printer's Alley.
You're probably like ruined his
Yeah.
game.
He's got some of these two losers. Just you and Lucy sitting there. Ugh. Yeah, what are y'all doing tonight? Nothing. Let me guess. Nothing. Yeah.
West Wing.
Yeah. Tom Sites. When you do a TV appearance like the Tonight Show, do you get paid for that? I guess that question is just for Nate. When you're on tour at a theater, do you have to get permission to pay
Or pay.
or pay the musicians for intro music? Again, I guess Nate. Nate, on the current tour, I saw you come out to Strumbellas and saw video of you coming out to 21 Pilots. What is your favorite song to come out to? Right now, I'm coming out to Strumbellas, and then I then I leave on 21 Pilots. You know, I like mixing it up. The Strumbellas is very good. We had a promoter, Cheney, who picked the Strumbellas song, and I loved it. And I was coming out to 21 Pilots. And so you just kind of change, I like change. And so I'll end up, like right now, we're just doing it with the Strumbellas and end with 21 Pilots. I love ending with that 21 Pilots song. It's almost kind of like, it's a very nice song. It's fun. I love the 21 Pilots, which I've wore their thing. We went to their concert. But they're 21 Pilots. People talk about having this podcast. I have them. And they're the best, dude. And like, that's people that you can hang out with. They're the great. Tonight Show, you get paid like $1,500, I think. $1,200 or $1,500.
Did they pay you to get there?
Sometimes they do. Sometimes sometimes it's always a battle sometimes. I think if you're promoting a movie, if you're promoting something, you don't get paid. And so like when I did my special, if I was doing stand-up on the show, then Netflix would pay you. Tonight Show would pay you and Netflix would pay for the travel. But if you're just promoting it and I'm not doing stand-up, I think they try to get Netflix to pay for the trap. There's like all that kind of stuff. And that's like every business. I mean, it's funny to see some like regular businessy kind of stuff where you're like, well, who's paying for this guy's hotel? And you're like, and then Netflix and NBC go, we're not paying for it or something. I don't know. But at the beginning, Tonight Show's paying for it. They would pay you and they'd give you a hotel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you don't pay. I don't pay. I owe Shaka Khan a bunch of money. If I'm supposed to be paying her, it said, do you get permission to use that music or pay?
Oh no, not at on the specials. So we had this last
on
one
the
was Drew
Netflix
Holcomb.
special.
Yeah, so like you can either pick a song. So if there's a song, I want to say the Full-Time Magic and the Tennessee Kid are both songs that are made to sound like a Lumineers song. So there's ways to do that where you walk out the intro, it's kind of a generic sounding song, but it's like kind of along the lines of one that you would want it to be. For the stand-ups, they did Lumineers and they actually paid for it to be used. And then for this one, I know Drew Holcomb,
Yeah.
but I think we paid with Drew Holcomb. Like, it's like we went through songs, and I wanted to use a real song. I liked using a real song. So we, Greg Garcia helped me pick it, and he sent it to me, and I was like, this song's amazing. And when he did, I was like, dude, I know this dude. Like, we were about to golf, and we've been texting.
Yeah.
And so it was like, ended up being perfect. And then we got it. I let him know we were using it, but we did it through the proper channels. Like,
Right.
I know I've seen that. What song is it? Because I've watched it.
Family.
Banana Kitchen.
Because I've been to their festival, Moon River in Chattanooga, that Ellie and Drew do.
Yeah. I did a charity. I did a benefit with Ellie.
I've met her at a Christian school fundraiser. I met her, but I've never met Drew, and I wasn't performing or anything. I just got to meet her.
Yeah.
They're darling.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so
great.
talented.
Very talented.
So you're walking out to Shaka Khan?
Shaka Khan plays when it's over.
Yeah.
I'm Every Woman. And then I've been walking out to Casey and the Sunshine Band. I was doing Earth, Wind, and Fire. But you're right. I feel like I need to change it up.
Yeah.
I thought that would be my thing, but I want to change it up.
Yeah. Well, at least you're not dating yourself. Sorry. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was good.
I know. Well, and I thought about playing Little Kim when she got out of prison.
Yeah.
But
Why don't you celebrate that with Lil' Kim? You should walk out to Lil' Kim.
I did listen to some of it, and it was just so nasty, that I think, these little women are be clutching a purse.
Oh,
Your mama probably wouldn't want to hear Little Kim. Mother, all that business, effing going doing. But I don't know. I do need somebody to help me pick out hipper songs.
Those songs, those are good songs.
Those are great
joking.
songs.
The joke was there. I had to.
The audience loves it. It's perfect.
I had to take the shot.
No, that's okay. I get it. But I want to be hip. Maybe I should be doing 21 Pilots.
No. You got to do what you got.
Lincoln Park.
Yeah. I would do Lincoln Park. That would date me. I would love to do Lincoln Park. You just pick what, like, you just kind of pick. I don't know. Like, you just kind of think it's important.
I always think of
fun.
80s when I made some really bad decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Earth, Wind, and Fire. That brings it back.
That brings back some. Prince. All
Yeah,
that. That was my heyday.
Mm-hmm.
She encourages me to come out to music, and I feel like it should be just left for the headliner because that's kind of their thing. And we were in Indianapolis, and Brian Dorfman was there with Outback, and I said, Brian, what do you think? Do you think I should come out to music? He said, they're all here to see her. It doesn't matter what you do.
That's very, very honest.
Yeah.
Brian should come out and say, brr, brr, brr. What's that?
Wah, wah, wah.
Do the guys that open for you? They don't come out to anything.
No, I've tried it, but it's like, it's kind of, it makes it, it's a lot of it's about the, when you come out, like they don't see you until you come out and like that kind of stuff, and it adds to it. And it's like I would never do. I don't move a lot on stage anyway, and so it's like I kind of like a little bit of the lights. They kind of flash, and then you come out to a good song and it plays, and like it just makes it like very fun and exciting, and that's what I think you want to do. But I think your songs that you're choosing are great. I mean, people want just fun. It's about. I would choose those songs. I just want fun, so I want it to be in the mindset of being like fun. Like you're like. When you walk out, it's a pleasant song that you're like, this song makes me in a good mood. And so that's what those songs would be. And a lot of times you have to go to older songs because some of these other songs I don't ever listen to what the words are saying, so I don't know what, but like some of them can be, just downers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I like 21 Pilots. So I was fortunate, Will Carsey. I was fortunate enough to see, I would call him Will Car Seat. Carsey?
Car seat?
Car seat. Yeah. My buddy Will Car Seat over here. I would do it in that joke of if he said something knowledgeable, I'd go, listen to Will Car Seat over here. He invented the car seat. You ever talk to him about it? He'll tell you. And he would be like, why does he say that? And they'd be like, there's no reason. I was fortunate enough to see Nate at my church in Houston, Texas. He had an amazing performance, and we all had a great time. What are Nate's experiences in church environments, and how does he change his routine to accommodate? I'm not particularly religious, but I sure wouldn't pass up the chance to see a great comedian. That's very funny
Sweet.
at his church. Yeah, he goes, I go to church. I'm not into it, but it's like, we look for something to do Sunday morning. I thought,
I'm not religious,
yeah.
but I'd go.
Movies aren't open, so I thought I'd go see this. This guy tell a story every week. Buy tickets to that.
Do you remember that church that he's talking about?
I think so.
Was it
Trying to think.
Joel Osteen's?
Yeah.
I remember that.
I think, yeah. The Astros. Well, there's been a couple, so I'm not sure which one, but I do think I know which one he's talking about. But it's, I don't know. When I go do church, if I do a church, I mean, I don't really have to change my act that much. But if I, when I talked about in the old special, the Tennessee Kid about Annie, the dog dying, and if people listen to this, they know that joke. I wouldn't do that joke. I didn't do that joke at a church because it was like telling the dogs die, telling Harper the dog's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
I would not do that. And so that would be the only thing I wouldn't do if I was talking about something like that. But other than that, everything else I can say. I used to say that I think the pastors are more edgy than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Like they might make a drug joke or something like that. And I'm always like, good night. What is wrong with these people? Leanne, you're probably
Clutch
too blue to work at
Yeah.
churches.
I can't talk about, prostituting myself to Chuck for money.
Yeah,
That's not good.
yeah,
But the other stuff I
Yeah.
can. I feel like I can, I can do it. But see, it's different for me. If they hire me, it's women's group.
yeah.
Well, you talking about women out to have a good time at a big women's group church
Yeah.
thing where they're selling Mary Kay in the lobby. And there's a taco truck out front. You know, that's a good time. That's
Yeah,
a good
it's a good
time.
time.
And I could come out and go, and they
Yeah.
just go throw their
Yeah.
purse in there.
I love it.
It's so fun and
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
It really, they're just so fun, darling. They're so tickled to be out and about.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
and there's a
Husband's
lot of
just home watching
church
the kids.
female comedians, but I'm not, I'm not
Yeah.
like them.
Yeah,
They do testimonies and somebody comes
Yeah.
up and maybe even play a song. I don't do any of that.
No.
God did not want me to.
No. He doesn't want me either. I remember trying to do it. Sometimes they were like, am I supposed to do it? And then you're like, I don't know. I could talk. I do think I could do motivational speech. Like I could do, I like talking about goals and like that kind of stuff. And that stuff's just fun to talk about. But yeah, when you just do your act and you're like, but this is not, I always look at a church, you're like, all their whole existence is preaching. So I need to just give them
Be
a break.
funny, yeah.
Be funny.
Yeah.
Be funny.
Even though I could tell a really good testimony. I've got one. I could
you
tell
got one
some
ready?
really twisted. Yeah. I don't have one ready.
You got one.
But I could pull it out of my butt. Yeah, and he has a joke now about that. And he was doing a church, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, what if I go through my material?" And I said, "Tell your testimony." And he really doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Brian's really never done anything bad, but I've done some bad stuff.
Yeah.
My 80s were pretty sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could tell that,
Yeah.
but I haven't had to yet. I
Yeah.
mean, normally they just want me to be fun.
Yeah. It'll come out eventually.
I'll write a book and have to tell all the horrible things
Yeah.
I did.
Your kids, you got to read. Yeah. I don't know. You can't. Oh.
They know some of it, but some of it
yeah.
they don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're going to find out.
They're in their 20s.
They'll be all right.
Yeah.
Nate Roloffs. Roloffs. I'm wondering when and how you make the jump from one size venue to the next. When do you get to the point where you can make the jump from a theater, which would be a few thousand people, to a stadium, which would be 15 to 20,000 people? Based on what you guys have talked about wanting the room to be full for the best show, when do you risk not filling the entire room for a bigger venue?
What a good question.
This is a good question. I think we're both going through this right now of like where we were.
I'll let you guys take this one.
Yeah. Aaron,
Aaron, you get it started.
Aaron, let's start at the bottom.
So when you
Aaron,
want to sell out a bar show, here's what I don't even know how to do that.
you want to go, I think me and you are exactly going through this right now, where it's you go to different venues. Our venues are becoming bigger, and you build up. You go up. So you first, like after comedy clubs, you kind of go to 1,000 seaters, 800 seaters. There's a lot of 800 theater seats or 1,000, And so you try to do that. Chicago, the Vic in Chicago is 1,000 seats. And that's a big one. That's usually a lot of people's first theater because Chicago's a good market. And, the Wilbur too in Boston is another one where they've got such a good following. The actual theater does for putting on good shows that they sell tickets just the fact that they're a great theater. So you kind of do that and then you kind of spread that out and then you slowly just start, when you start adding shows, when you start doing stuff, you look at the tickets and you look at, it's 1,000 seats, 15, I remember when I did Atlanta the Cobb was it was 2,800 and that was the biggest. And that was right before COVID, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that was at that point was the biggest I've ever done. Like it was like I was there with Fallon, and I was like, I can't believe this is 2,800 people. And then now, in Nashville, I did 2 Opries in a Ryman, which that was almost 12,000 people. Like it's so then it just continues to grow. It just really is the demand is there, and you just keep going to these towns. It's how you build it up everywhere. You go to these towns over and over again. And people, a lot of mine is word of mouth. I believe you probably a lot of word of mouth, people sharing clips and showing people and be like, you got to watch this person, And then you go through their town and the next time they come see you again and they come see you again. And it just keeps growing. And I think you build a fan base that will stay with you, which I think. Right.
But for 20 years, I couldn't get arrested. So, I couldn't sell tickets. And then we'd get 2 other comics, call it something. We would try to do 300 to 500 seats, not really sell out.
Yeah.
But sometimes we would. But then, and then by myself, I could not move up. And that when this happened to me, it went from 0 to 100. I don't know. Just like a supernatural,
Right.
I say.
Yeah.
But at first, when they first announced my tour, it was 1,000 seats. I like 1,000 seats.
Yeah. 1,000's great. I like 3. But I don't know, but I like all of them. When you go to 5, you're like, well, 5's great.
Well, but okay, so now I'm in 2,000 to 3,000, and I'm scared to death. But it's going great. And I think my first 4,000 is Detroit, the Fox, this year.
Yeah.
But you and I did the arena in
Tupelo.
Tupelo.
Yeah.
That was
Fun.
between 4,000 and 5,000.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Guys, I did that too. Come on.
yeah, that is true.
You did. You did. You
He's a
angel.
part of it. Yeah, it's. I mean, it grows like you can't. It just grows naturally. I mean, you have, you end up getting a great team around. Nick Nusiforo is my agent at UTA, and like he's had Gaffigan and Sebastian and Larry the Cable Guy, Foxworthy. I mean, he's done so many people. So you kind of get with those guys. People that know how to. They've seen an act come up, and they kind of go like, "Here's the." I basically do everything Gaffigan does. Like and Gaffigan told me, he's like, I did what John Panette did. And like, you just kind of do that kind of thing. So I'm following a lot of his blueprint that's been laid out. And you go, cause if you're kind of similar to someone, they're like, all right, you're kind of this kind of play, you fit with this kind of audience and you kind of, that's the blueprint. Maybe it changes, maybe it blah, blah, goes many different ways, but you just kind of know like, all right, I mean, you got to still be good. I mean, that's the thing is like it can all go away if you are not good. So you want to just keep, you got to, that's the nervousness that you get now is like just to stay as good as you think these people want you to be.
Mm-hmm. And now I think it's changed with you, especially like you've done 2 specials for Netflix. So every year, then you grow more and more from that special and growing those audiences. Yeah. So then you'll go to arenas.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you will.
Hopefully.
You will. I know you will. I know, but you are. I mean, but I don't have a special. So if I ever got a special, I think it would help me get to the next level. Yeah. Because these 2 to 3
that's what's crazy
freaking me out.
You're at where you're at without it. So you've been doing comedy for 22 years. So you started in probably 2000, something like that, 1999. I started in 2003. And you were 30 or something? You were in your 30s?
I was 32 and I had my last baby. So I had 3 babies.
Yeah. And did you always want to do it?
hmm
Yeah. And then so
But I
finally it
didn't know
was like,
how. I didn't
Yeah.
know where. I wasn't in a place to do it.
yeah.
Where were you living?
When I got started, I was living in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, and Chuck had a used mobile home business.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
And
Wow.
there was not a club in Knoxville at the time. And I just started out doing like little stuff like the Rotary Club. Like
Yeah.
I'd take my babies to Mom's Day Out and go do something for the Rotary, and they would
Yeah.
give me a gift card, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And
Yeah.
then I drove to Zany's. I somehow talked Brian Dorfman into letting me open, and I opened for oh gosh, that guy Billy Gardell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I did the opening, like, the drink of the night is tequila. I was scared to death. I had an 18-month-old baby, I think I drove back in the same night. And and Brian Dorfman got me in the back and said, Leanne, I think you've got something.
Yeah.
But I've told this story many times, but he said, I think you've got it. I really do. But how are you going to raise 3 babies doing this? He said, Roseanne Barr raised them in a parking lot in a station wagon, and it didn't turn out well. I don't know what's happened to her children, but I'm sure they're fine. But he said, he said, you just cannot come up the way, like in comedy clubs, if you're going to raise your own children.
Yeah.
So then, and it made me mad, but he was right.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll just find another way. And then we moved, my husband sold that business, and we moved to San Antonio. And that was the first time I lived in uptown with a club. And I started doing open mic. And they moved me up quickly.
Yeah.
And I opened a lot for people, and they would put me on the late show where everybody was high on marijuana.
Yeah.
And I was talking about doo-doo balls on a t-ball field, and everybody was high and drunk and midnight, and I had to get up the next morning and take people to school.
Yeah.
So that was hard. But then I started driving back and forth to Cap City Comedy Club in Austin, and that was such a great club.
Yeah.
And they believed in me and moved me from an opener to a headliner for the first time in their history, which was a terrible week. I was scared out of my mind. But in all that, I just couldn't go and leave because my husband's an executive with a big company, and he traveled.
Yeah.
So somebody had to raise, and I wanted to be home with the children.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then God put people in my life that lifted me up. And so I got the Southern Fried Chicks. And that's when I was talking about 3 women. It was after Blue Collar, and they were like, we need women to do this. So we had a guy out of Nashville that was old school and had booked the Judds and Garth Brooks early on, and he did not take no for an answer. And he put us in every nook and cranny all over the United States. And I worked on the weekends, and Chuck took care of the children during the week. And then I'd get a television deal for a sitcom. I've had several of those. But in between those, there were times could not get arrested, couldn't get booked. But I would think, okay, maybe this isn't working. And then I'd get a television deal. And Hollywood would be after me. And I'd think, okay, well, I do have it. And then nothing, it wouldn't make it. And then I'd do churches, not a lot of churches. I haven't done a lot of, because I didn't want to, I'm a believer, but I did not want to get in that space and be under that title. I just thought that's not a good thing for me.
I think
that's
we
not
had
what
that worry. I think I think we're the same. And that you would always have that worry. You just don't I don't want to be labeled anything. So I didn't want to be labeled Southern. I don't want to be labeled clean. I don't want to be labeled Christian. I just don't want to label. And I just wanted to go out from there. And so that's why, we do what we do.
Yeah. And so I didn't, so I'd done a lot of private corporate, and I did so many clubs a year that Chuck knew he needed to be off and take care of the kids. And I did the same clubs that always brought me back. And they were good clubs, like Cap City Comedy Club. Had a lot going on. Montreal, I got Montreal once. I hope I get to go back. But I mean, they always asked me to audition. And so I was always in the mix.
Yeah.
And it was enough to keep me going, And then my children are all gone. And to me, this could not be any better timing.
Yeah.
What I thought it was going to be was when they were younger. And I think about if we had to move to LA and I had to raise these children in LA, that wouldn't have been what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then God knew better than I did. And then now they don't need me anymore. And I mean, I'm very close to my children, and they're over all the time, but they don't need me.
Yeah.
And I can go and do. And it's just so much sweeter and more wonderful than I even dreamed it would be. Yeah. I never dreamed that I would have these big audiences in these theaters. Because the Southern Fried Chicks, we were out, and then 3 other ones tried Country Cool, me and Trish and little Karen Mills, and we were out doing everything we could, trying to sell tickets. And, we did okay, but nothing was happening, and you just try to throw something out there and see if it works. But anyway, then this happened to me, and it's unbelievable.
And talk about what happened. Like, what happened to you? How did you go from here to here?
Well, I have social media, but I barely, I'd put up something. My kids, just went to, I don't know. I just
Wendy's.
didn't. I really did not know what I was doing. And people would say to me in the business, you need to work that social media. I'd be, well, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then I was watching you. And I was watching Jim Gaffigan, and I told my manager, I go, they are doing something. Somebody's doing their social media. And I think I need to do that. And at the beginning, he said, that's too expensive, Leanne, and I don't think you should hire anybody. So I kind of let it go. And then we started talking about it again, and I hired these two boys. I say boys, they're y'all's age, and they're darling. They've got children, but I think of them as like my children. But I got them and hired them. And they got all my stuff, that I had filmed. And because I never put stuff like that up. I never put clips. It was really stupid now that I think about it. I wasn't doing anything I was supposed to. Anyway, they put out a second clip. They started in October of 2019. And I was moving my youngest into school in New York. And we were in a hotel room. And they had put out, I thought it was the first clip, but it may have been the second that they ever put out of me. And it was about taking my husband to go see Def Leppard and Journey and old people at concerts. And I had never done that bit before. And we just happened to film that in Chattanooga at the Walker. And I had been to take Chuck to see Def Leppard and Journey. And I told that story, and I never told it before on stage. Somebody got it on film. These boys released it, put on the graphics, old people going to concerts. And that must have grabbed people. Mm. And I noticed when we were in that hotel room in Manhattan, I said to my family, something's happening. I could feel it. I could physically feel it. People were sharing thousands of shares, and it was just going up, millions. And I said, something's happening. And they all went, shut up, get that luggage and let's get in the Uber. I mean, nobody cared.
Yeah.
I think all my life, my children, I think they think I'm funny. And my husband has been very supportive of my career, but I think they've kind of thought, oh, kooky mom.
Yeah.
Kooky mom trying to be a comedian. And when I said something's happened, and they were like, yeah, we got to go and get her in this dorm room. But I felt it. I knew it was happening. And it was, I knew it was supernatural. I know I say that, and I don't mean to say that other people can't do it, like you've got to be touched by God. I don't want it to sound like it has to be that, but I know that it was something beyond anything I could have done. I mean, I just know it was. I thought that clip at that time, and people started sharing it. Well, then they started looking, what else does she do? So they started looking up, I'd done a dry bar. Yeah. And I had done this dry bar special, and I remember this is how my career was going. Dry bar, nobody knew about dry bar. My manager said, there's this thing that the Mormon people are putting on in Salt Lake City. And he said, I don't think it'll hurt you. Yeah. He goes, let's do it. I don't think anybody will ever see it.
Yeah.
He said, you're going to be in Omaha. Where was I going? Dubuque. You're going to be in Dubuque, Iowa, doing the Chamber of Commerce luncheon.
Yeah.
That's how my career was going. He goes, you're going to be in Dubuque doing that luncheon, which my friend Barry always hired me to do that. And I'm not saying anything because Dubuque, they're darling. Mm-hmm. But I did that luncheon. Because it snows there all the time, they just drink alcohol all the time. And so they had alcohol at that luncheon. And I'm not a big drinker, but I had not eaten. I drank a mimosa. I got buzzed and had to go sit on the toilet and put both of my feet on the toilet. And I was holding on in that because the room starts spinning like when you're in college. And then I had to get up and do that show at the Dubuque luncheon. Anyway, did that Chamber of Commerce. Then I fly to Salt Lake City to do that for Dry Bar, and I had gotten a spray tan, and I don't know. I took a shower, and all that spray tan came off right here, and the rest of me was just like a pumpkin, bad spray tan, and I had a necklace on from the loft that I thought, I'll wear this choker and be cute. I had a thyroid nodule that had poked out, and that choker got cocked up on that nodule. I can't even watch that special. I wore a big cuff in a jean that really cut my leg off. Really did.
Yeah.
Looked terrible. And I had not done that material. He goes, just do some old material. You'll get a clip from it. You'll never see these people again. And that's how he said it to me. And I go, okay. I did this old material I could barely remember. And but darn, if that didn't get millions and millions of views. But I think that was because there were very few women in it, and I was at the beginning, and Dry Bar was new, and it was just going like gangbusters. And so that had millions of views. It got me fans, but that didn't do. That was about a year until I hired these boys. And when I hired these boys, that changed my life.
Yeah.
And they say it didn't. Well, Liam, you did it. We didn't. I mean, we just helped you get there. But I think that I have an audience that is underserved. I think nobody, not that Hollywood doesn't care, but Hollywood doesn't understand.
Yeah.
And they are everyday people out here in the United States that are darling.
Yeah.
And I hit a niche. And I think once they saw the Def Leppard one, because a lot of men like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started sharing that, and then they went and watched Dry Bar. And those numbers went up. And then they started looking for, if you became a fan of mine, started looking for everything I'd done. And I had a podcast, Sweaty and Pissed, Menopause and More.
Yeah, let's say it again.
And that had I don't know what's the good, but like 25,000 downloads of episode, and we had Reese Witherspoon shared it, and
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
and that was a niche because that's medical and entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and so that started growing, and people
That's a
wanted
market
that.
no one's going after. The medical entertainment market. Yeah.
John Reap's testosterone.
Yeah. You may want to hear about testosterone and a little humor.
Menopause and
Yeah.
a good time, but but anyway, that's what happened, and it was crazy. So I've been doing this for a long time, and in my mind, what I thought I'd be a sitcom star
Yeah.
from the time I was 5. I thought I'm going to be on television, and this is what's going to happen. And I've had wonderful writers, and I've had wonderful deals, and all that, but they just didn't make it. It's like winning the lottery, getting something on TV.
They say it's hard. There was a saying, Nick's wife, I can't remember exactly what she said. It's like the idea of she said it once. She has a hard time remembering it. I'm always like, remember it. Her name's Till. And I was like, Till, just remember it. Because I loved it so much. But it was like, it's impossible. It's something like it's impossible to even get a script sold. And then it's even more impossible to get it to shoot a pilot, and even almost non-existent impossible or something. It was not like those words, but it's like the idea of it was like everyone was to even get them to pay you to write a script is insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. I mean, there's looking at so many scripts. The fact that you get to that and that feels like nothing because they say no to it, you don't get that pilot. Well, you're in it's a tiny group that you're in. And then you shoot a pilot, 10 of them. I mean, they might buy 10 scripts out of 100, 200. Like it's insane to be in that. And then get past and get the show made is.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to Fortune Feimster. I was on her podcast, and she said, Leanne, I had, I think it was ABC. Tina Fey was her executive producer. Annie Potts played her mother. And she said, and it didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you think about, and all that she's got going on,
Right.
You got to create something that it's about you. And I think I'm learning it now is more like, something that I never took advice of when selling a show. And I mean, in some, like we didn't like, it's just like, in some ways we've had similar, like, I've had a bunch of the TV deals and all that kind of stuff, and none of them really go. And like, you just keep plowing ahead. But it's so when you create a show, it's like, they'd always say, write the show that you want. And then if it doesn't go, you can at least walk away and go, well, I wrote what I wanted and y'all didn't want it. And that's okay. Instead of writing the show that you think they want, that's what you can't do because because what they want changes on a dime. If they want, Everybody Loves Raymond, but then the next day, The Office got the most views of all time. Well, now they don't want Everybody Loves Raymond. They will give us The Office. And so if you took 6 months to write Everybody Loves Raymond, because Everybody Loves Raymond is the biggest show on earth, and then the day you turn it in, The Office becomes the biggest show on earth, now your script is pointless. Because then they go, well, I want that thing now. And this is that old thing. Even if Everybody Loves Raymond does good, they don't care. And it's, we could all be like, we're all like that in a little bit. And the fact that you kind of just, the new thing kind of grabs you and you want that. And so you got to it's eventually write the thing that you want to do. And then that's, and that's where you get held. I mean, I agree with you. We're talking about feeling something too. I understand that you feel it's just, I know what you mean. It's, you always feel like you're getting prepared. I feel like I'm getting very told to be prepared. There's a preparation that you're just kind of getting everything in order. And you're you just feel like stuff's a lot more than it used to be. And it's just different and it's different than it's ever been. And it's, you don't take it for granted. You're always grateful. You try to always remind yourself that kind of stuff, but that's what you're going through and it's happening. But that's why your rise that's why it's so great. Because the people that you're talking about, it's not a niche. It's every single person on earth. It's not even just America. It's earth. It's all of the people on earth, except everybody's just families. That's what they are. It doesn't matter where you go. It's a family. You're sitting, most people are sitting there with their family. They're the ones wanting to watch this stuff. They're the people that don't get a show or something kind of built around them. It's built around this other thing or this. Sometimes it's I got to watch these or what's that vampire movie, Twilight? That was huge, right? They're making stuff, and that's a huge thing. But you're like that. No parents are watching that, or no, that's not made for them. And so sometimes Hollywood wants young, and so they go young, and then they want to make stuff even more young. When you're well, that's not young's not watching you. It's my age is watching you. It's 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds. They're the ones watching you. They're the 50-year-olds. They're talking about ads. They're the ones that got money. They're the ones buying this stuff, the ads. The 20-year-old's not buying this stuff. A 50-year-old is. And so that niche is just a huge, and that's where your success, that's why it blew up. If you were a niche, you wouldn't have blown up the way you blew up. You blew up big because it related to everybody.
Well, thank you, my darling. And I guess you're right because when I had my first deal with ABC, I went out to LA and they wanted me to do a showcase at the Laugh Factory. And this is before we sold it to ABC, but they had NBC. Back then, it wasn't streaming. So it was ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox came out to watch me. And we walk up to the Laugh Factory, and my producer at Warner Brothers said, "Oh, that's odd. They're calling this Sultan of Comedy Night." And he goes, "What does that mean?" And I thought, Sultan. And the kids were little, and I thought, oh, that's that Disney show on the magic carpet. What is
Aladdin?
Aladdin, Sultan.
Yeah.
I said, is it something to do with Aladdin? And come to find out, it was Middle Eastern night. And they had me in a lineup with Gilda the Mean Turk, Peter the Persian, Basil the Armenian.
And Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Yeah.
And they gave me 20 minutes. And, sweet Middle Eastern people, I don't think they get a lot of time.
Yeah.
So they were pissed. And I remember somebody giving me the light, and I wanted to say, they've given me 20 minutes. I'm doing a showcase for all these networks. But I was scared out of my mind. I thought I was going to die. And I got up and I did my act and it went well. And then that night, my producer said, Leanne, I have figured it out. People want to say you're a Southern comedian, but you're not. I know you got a thick accent.
Yeah.
But these Middle Eastern women are trying to find blue jeans to fit over their stomach. These middle-aged women are having to prostitute themselves to their husband for money. What you talk about is universal.
Yeah.
And that was a big time in my career when he said that to me, because I did feel that way. And I felt that way this whole time, even in 22 years, I felt confident, and I thought, I know I've got something. I know I've got something. I know I can do this. But when it happens to you, I think this is normal to go through like an imposter thing. Like,
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
yeah. And that's why I've been listening to podcasts and people talking about going through imposter syndrome because I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, oh no, I'm not worthy. How is this happening to me? Because I do know so many talented people in this business, and I've worked with so many talented people, and this won't happen for them. You know, it doesn't happen for everybody. And so I have.
You and Nate, you've heard me say this before. Y'all all have a lot in common. You're positive in your comedy in the sense that you're both from the South, clean, but you don't put down the South. You're proud of where you come from. You say things even in a sarcastic way in a positive manner. You both love your spouse. You make fun of them, but you talk about how you love your spouse, and that resonates with people. It's not so dark. It's not so negative. It's not talking about just very depressing topics. Yeah. It's for families, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's. I mean, look, that's why Ted Lasso did so good because it was a positive, kind of thing, and that's what I think people want. And you were lucky to be in a time that I think that's it can be at times hard to find, and so we're lucky that we're getting to be grateful enough to get to take advantage of this time. But you do always feel that imposter feeling, and that's you do feel like it's not happening to you, and I think you want it to. I think you want to not feel like it's happening to you. You want it to be, you got to look at it like you're the vessel. It's not you. It's like, it's not about you. It's not about my accomplishments or it's about what you're giving to somebody or something. Or I think like it's easier to think of it like that. Maybe that's the case. It's like, you don't want to, cause you can, like, it's weird you do sometimes. So you're murdering and you're up there and you're like, man, maybe I'm a great comedian. And that pops in your head. And then but I'm like, I don't want that thought in there. You're not supposed to be here. Like, that's not what this is about. And you try to get that thought out. Cause it's like, that's a bad, I don't think it's a road that no one can handle, is to go down that road of being like, it's me and it's got to go out. Everything's got to go out. And like, you can't come in. And the end is what I think messes people up. And I think when people because you can't live up to even your own standards that you think because you make them up to something. So you're like, well, how can I live up to what I think I'm supposed to, if I think this, and you think it, you don't not think it. I think that stuff pops in my head all the time. I think, man, I'm doing really good. I feel like my act's different than anybody. I think I'm better than most comics out. Like, that stuff can pop in your head, but then you're like, but I've got to ground myself to be like, I'm an idiot. I don't know how to read. I don't I probably have type 2 diabetes, maybe 3. Like, there's all this stuff that you have that's like, why don't you calm it down a little bit and get back into reality and just be like, I'm happy that I'm going to do what I want. And I need to make sure that audience and that's where it becomes about them. And it's like, you want to make sure that they have a good time and that they have fun and they get to laugh and they get a break from their lives. And just like we need a break from lives. Just when I watch Angel Has Fallen, I'm going through all the Gerard Butler movies and he's giving me a break. Oh, yes,
I've seen those.
Yeah, they're great.
They are. Oh,
they're
yeah.
Fun. It's fun. You just mind your own business and watch Gerard. So come to our shows or watch Gerard Butler. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's it. Long story short. Buy tickets to me, Leanne, or Gerard. Anything Gerard, but if you're at least going to Gerard Butler or something, we will allow it.
Well, and I think that if this had happened to me younger, when I was thinner and prettier, because I was pretty cute. If this had happened then,
you're still very pretty.
Thank
so that's
you,
crazy.
doll.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I look at pictures. Poor Brian has to film me going out on stage, and it's like during the COVID, it's just like a big butt walking out, and it looks like you could put a cafeteria tray on the back of my butt. And
is
so
that where you set the camera at?
And so then he got to where he was just trying to get an elbow. He goes, well, what if I just do your arm? So if you notice it in any of my videos, it's just an arm out there because I thought, oh my gosh, my breasts. Whose breasts are these? I mean, they're just like big feed sacks. Anyway, I do.
You should start now doing just pictures of before everybody sits down. And you just go, can't wait to perform tonight. Just a picture of the seats.
Yeah, we do a lot of that. But yeah, and I talked to John Christ about a lot of it too. And he worries like I do. You can't help but you want everybody to have a wonderful time. You worry, are they going to buy tickets? Are they going to love me? What is going to, it's just pressure,
It's hard
but
to
it's
not,
sweet.
yeah. It's hard to not have that pressure. It's hard to think, we don't get a gauge. There's not like a system. I know they're talking about like I'm on Gaffigan's blueprint. Like, well, there can be a blueprint, but it doesn't mean I'm going to hit everything. Maybe the time he hit everything doesn't mean I might hit something faster. I might not hit something faster. I might do, it's a different time. Like I look at like, we do look at like when he was 40, like was that the
Hot Pocket.
Hot Pocket was like when he was 40. And so you look at that, and now I'm 42, and then you're like, so you kind of look at stuff to be like, all right, but you're trying to gauge, where am I? Am I selling? Who's doing, you start looking at who's doing what? Who's doing, we talked about today with some show being like, they were at this theater. I'm like, well, where am I at? Am I there? I think we're at this, but you're trying to gauge to be like, all right, you want to see your success. And there's a competitiveness to it, and you should have that, or you won't have a drive. But you got to also like, it's like, there's no real, it's hard to, we're in a business that there's not a system. There's not rules. There's not like, this is what happens. It happens to
you go to medical school and then you become a doctor. Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't matter how you get there. You're getting there. Whether it takes I'm 19 years in, you're 22 years in, it's like, it takes people a long time. It takes people, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it takes people no time and they become famous super quick. And sometimes you can have pockets. You could always have someone be jealous of your whole career. You'd have someone be jealous of your whole career. Even when you thought no one was, there was someone that was probably like, well, why don't I get what she gets? Mm-hmm. And so everybody's going to have that. And you always go. And that's like, you just got to always like be aware that you're thinking that, I think, and then get back to, the game plan of just being like, just try to be better and better every day.
Mm-hmm. And you're very tough-minded too. I'll ask her like, was it tough for you as a woman on the road doing these terrible, terrible gigs? And she'll say, no, everyone really always treated me great and everything. And then later she'll tell me some awful thing that some man said to her. Yeah. I'm like, Leanne, that's clearly because you're a woman. She's like, oh, well, I guess you're right. I just dealt with it. Yeah. So you don't let that get you down. You just roll with the punches.
No, I mean, I feel like I've been treated well most of the time, Stuff happens, but I am pretty tough. I'm a mom, mm-hmm. I've had 3 children. I've been through about everything. And so, no, I've never felt, like on Twitter, people get to fighting and, women are angry that are in comedy. And I've never felt that. I've always had people be great to me. I mean, there's been some incidences, but nothing that would bring me down.
Well, you don't think it's an overall thing? I
don't, but that's my experience. But maybe I have a church lady vibe where nobody's going to say, I don't know. I haven't had many people be mean to me.
Yeah,
I haven't had hecklers for the most part. I mean, I've had every once in a while, a drunk woman will yell out C-section, but but for the most part, I mean, Brian and I just had somebody. I don't even know if you call him a heckler. That was just I don't know, just I don't even know, a problem. Yeah. But I think people, I think I have a personality that people don't want to be mean to me or mess with me. I just don't. Yeah.
Well, it's what you present. And I think that's what, back to like people not hating your audience, you're your audience. You wouldn't go yell at someone. So why would they? I wouldn't scream out. Why would someone? People get drunk and they do stuff. I've had that happen, but it's not all the time. It's and that's why when it happens that I don't feel like I ever got to really be mean to them, because you're like, I think they're going to be embarrassed about this tomorrow. And I hate that it's happening now, and I don't want it to ruin everybody's time, but it's not like we're all just sitting there going like, one of us has got a little too much to drink. We've all been, maybe you've all been there. You were doing something you regret. And then you just get through it, and then you just move on.
Yeah.
And that's what you think. And I think that comes off, and like, that's where your audience would be like, we're you and you're them.
Yeah. And I've got my audience. I mean, it's like Aaron's mama. She ain't going to do something crazy. They're precious people that have raised a bunch of kids, and they're just want to have a good time. I mean, they're darling. Mm. They are. I mean, and they're everywhere. And it's, I know I've said
everybody's great.
Yeah.
99, I always to say, I think it's 99% of humans on earth are the greatest people you ever meet in your life.
I think so too.
Like 1% is like the worst. But like, if you just started covering if you were like, you know what? Actually, everybody's pretty awesome. and then just talk about the awesomeness and quit bringing up the mean, you'd be like, man, it is a pretty crazy. We're riding with a pen, riding in a big bangs and writing on this paper, whatever. Like
There's
whatever.
a lot of sweet people out there. I think there's more good than there is bad. I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're not even close.
Mm-mm. And I think people want it
I
to
say
seem like it's
99% is
bad.
good. I mean, I don't even know. Like that's how high I go. I think everybody is.
Yeah.
I think people get talked into different stuff that they shouldn't be, and I don't think they would be talked into it. I think it's someone leading a lot of people into a wrong thing. It's very easy. I would be very influenced when I was younger. It's very easy to get like kind of swayed into something that you don't think you should be in. But I always think everybody like if you got them alone, I just think they would be wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's like they just get kind of wrapped up in the wrong kind of thing, and it's hard to get out of that sometimes. And so, but overall, yeah, everybody wants to have a good time. Everybody wants to have fun. Everybody likes jokes being made. Like everybody's like trying to live their life, doing stuff.
And if somebody needs help, they go help. I think.
They go help. Yeah. Why? Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to help.
Yeah.
America's got to be one of the more charitable countries in the world. I don't know if that's true or not, but
I would think so.
but that's what I like. That's what it's all back to the cancer. Remember we were talking about like how they not solved cancer. Like but you're giving so much money, you're giving trillions of dollars, and you're like, I don't know. I don't know. That has anything to do with anything.
People often ask me,
my charity rant and going, where are they putting this money at?
people often ask me, is her accent real or is that just a character she does on stage? And I say, if anything, she dials it down when she's on stage.
Yeah.
No, people say that to me. They go, is that real? And I'm thinking, do y'all think I'm too tired
Yeah.
to put this on?
Yeah.
This is it. But I've had people say that to me. And I think, well, you've never been to Adams, Tennessee,
Yep.
where the Bell Witch is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where we grow dark fire tobacco.
Yeah.
Because we all sound like things.
So the Bell Witch, then you grew up there, and it was like just like everybody talked about it. Were y'all annoyed that it was there?
Yeah, we were annoyed. And if there was like a 4th of July picnic in the town, in it's a little bitty town behind Bell School, where they would have the barbecue and all of that. And there would be a square dance late at night, and all my family danced in it. And I was really a good dancer with my Uncle Roy, who was on the Grand Ole Opry Louisiana Hayride with Hank Williams Sr. Yeah, so we really, are some good dancers. I mean that.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Nate didn't believe you, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but there
him.
was.
Well, what made me think about that? Like, talking about like thinking about yourself. You don't want to think about yourself now. It's like the way you talk about yourself being a good dancer. Everybody does that. Everybody talks about when I was little, I was just this cute little thing. I did the dance, and it's a positive way. That's almost the way you got to think about your life now. Is like that. That's what I thought of when you said that. It's like that and no one ever thinks that that's what you said. Is everybody would say that, and it's a very sweet thing. I was not a bad little basketball player back in the day. It's like that's almost how you got to think of yourself now. I think is like you got to think, well, I'm doing all right. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like you almost like even though it's in the present a little bit, but it's like it's always like. You think picturing someone else. I don't know. That might not be true at all. So don't listen to anything I said. But that's what I thought of when you said that.
Well, at the Bell Witch, when they would have the 4th of July picnic, they had all these festivities throughout the day, and right in the middle of it would be a coffin with a dummy in it, and they would say that's Kate Batts and that's the Bell Witch. And as a little child, it ruined things for us.
Yeah.
Gosh.
There'd be a talent show, there'd be all kinds of festivities going on through the day, and then they'd put and it looked real. And my grandmother would have to give me a bunch of Tums because my stomach would get upset. And I'd think, oh my God, there's a witch.
Yeah.
So it was, to me, it was scary. And I always had these cousins that were a nightmare. And they would go, oh, she's in here. And we've said her name 12 times and we've turned around and she's in the mirror.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, what? And I didn't want all that. I don't like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my little bitty Methodist church, across the road was a cemetery with the Bell family in it. So these boys from Vanderbilt fraternity, football team, whoever, trying to haze somebody, would bring them down, put them in that cemetery. They would get so scared they'd come and beat the windows out of the Methodist church. And my little pastor would say, they beat the windows out again, and we're going to have to take up money to put these windows back in here.
Yeah. Oh.
And then there's a cave. I've never been to the cave.
Yeah. Why don't y'all just leave the door unlocked?
We've left our door unlocked for.
I know, but why didn't y'all just leave the door unlocked at the church?
Oh, I know. You're right. Let's
Would
just let
they-
people come in.
So when he takes up the
You're
offering,
right.
I know when he takes the offering, it's a church, and so when he takes up the offering, you should have just wrote a note. You go, I'm not going to give you money, but I think I'm going to save us all money. And you go, just read that note. And be like, let's just leave the door unlocked. We're not even locking our doors at our houses. Like, let them
We
go
didn't.
in. Yeah,
We didn't.
Yeah.
You're right. My mom and daddy's okay. But yeah, that it was not I didn't enjoy it, but I've always been scared of demons, you know? I
Yeah.
don't like to bring demons into my somebody asked me on something the other day about the Bell Witch and they said, did you have seances when you were little? I was like, no. I don't like demon stuff.
Yeah,
Even
I don't
though
think
I've-
most people did have seances. I don't. Whoever asked you that is
I know.
kind of crazy.
Maybe
Freaky little woman.
Maybe like a
Yeah.
Ouija board, that
yeah,
kind of
a
stuff.
Ouija, and people had Ouija. My cousins did.
Yeah.
Is it a cave?
There's a cave.
It's right there on the road.
Says temporary closed. Is that because he died?
He died, yeah, and
Yeah,
I don't
the
know what
owner of
his
it, right?
children are going to do.
Did you
But
know
yeah, they
him?
find stuff. No, my family does.
Yeah.
Would you say they find stuff?
They find bones and like, from animals and Native American. I think they found some Native American bones in there.
Hmm.
Oh my god.
Remains. I've never been in it because I don't like demon stuff. But whoever's owned it through the past, there was a little old man that owned it when I was growing up, and he didn't want people to come into the cave, and he
Oh.
would yell at people and run them off, which is crazy because he could have had an income from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's never been utilized like it should be because people, honest to goodness, come from all over the world to see
Yeah.
the Bell Witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're just not, we don't have the infrastructure. There's one little man named Tim Henson, and he's got the museum up at the Bell School, and he's got a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of weird old photos that look freaky. And and the Red River Boys were boys that I went to high school with that tried to make it in the music industry, and they did all right. And he's got huge posters of them. And then there's one tiny picture of me. And my dad gets so mad and he goes, you're really the only one that's got anything going on. You got more going on than the Bell Witch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And why wouldn't he have that up there?
Yeah.
But I've thought about maybe doing a limited podcast series on the Bell Witch
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
man, that'd be amazing.
and
be
digging
great.
into it. But I had a high school history teacher that's no longer with us. He was from heaven. His name was Mr. Mantooth, and he was so interesting and a wonderful
Like, he
history
was from
teacher.
heaven? Or he went to heaven?
He went to heaven,
Oh, they said
but he
from
was
heaven.
darling
She
and
did.
from
She
heaven.
did, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he was from there and there now.
Yeah.
But Mr. Mantooth, and he was a wonderful history teacher and would tell us, he was the kind of history teacher that would tell you all the interesting stuff behind just the, you didn't just spit out, bring in information and spit it out. He'd tell you stuff like how they tortured people by putting their eyelids in with toothpicks and made horses run at them, fun stuff. So anyway, not just like facts, but like, oh yeah, well, everybody was pregnant on the boat coming over on the Mayflower because they didn't have anything else to do but it. And so there was a lot of unwed mother. There was a lot of young girls that were pregnant on the Mayflower. Did you
Never
know
thought
that?
about that. No.
Yeah, they were doing it. Anyway, he would tell us about the Bell Witch, and I wish that I'd listened, but I was probably flirting with people. But he would tell us stuff about really what went on with the Bell Witch. Do y'all want to hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says that there was a man that came through Adams that was a genius and a ventriloquist and could throw his voice and was a mathematician and very brilliant, and that he fell in love with Lucy Bell, the daughter, and she did not like him back. She did not reciprocate that, and so he's the one that threw his voice when they thought they heard voices in the. And Andrew, was it Andrew Jackson or Andrew Johnson?
Jackson.
Jackson came to investigate, and the wagon wheels locked up, and he had to turn around. It was that man who was throwing his voice and doing all that, and he's the one that poisoned John Bell and killed him.
Oh my gosh.
So he was like a sociopath.
Yeah. Yeah.
Came through and was trying to woo Lucy, and
She wasn't having it.
she wasn't having it, and that he had all of these talents and could do freaky stuff to people.
Yeah.
Is what my sweet Mr. Mantooth thought it was. Now, other people think that Kate Batts was the woman in the town that was crazy and that she died and she came back and haunted people. She
Yeah.
was the dummy at everything we ever did. There would be a dummy and they'd go, that's Kate Batts. ruined everything.
Why was
Think
she?
about it.
Yeah.
Being 9 years old, being like you're in somebody's dead body. It really wasn't, but
Yeah.
horrible.
And what if Kate Batts was like just a nice lady that?
She may have been.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
she
John
had,
Bell did die.
John,
he was
poisoned and murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's been several movies about it. Did y'all talk about that?
Mm-mm.
No.
Sissy Spacek and Donald Sutherland did the last one.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That was American
Haunted. I think.
Haunting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tommy
And
Lee
then-
Jones was in it, right?
Was he? I
Maybe
forgot. I
I'm
watched it, but I can't
It's about the
remember.
Bell Witch.
It's about the Bell Witch. And
Is
then
it good?
Did they
I
call it
don't-
the Bell Witch, or they just base it off of that?
I thought that was based on the Bell Witch.
Yeah, I think they may be based. I don't know in the movie if they call her
Oh,
the
if they
Bell Witch,
called
and
her
call
the
him
Bell
John
Witch.
Bell and all that.
But I had a good friend that I grew up with, and he lived in the big house that was built on that land. And they had a black dog. She came. They said that the witch came in the
Form.
in other forms, of like a black crow, a black dog, and there was a black dog that would always come up on their property and had a bullet hole in his head, and you could see the bullet. And they said that was the Bell Witch. That dog lived way too long with a bullet hole.
Yeah.
And they heard stuff and stuff. His mom had a lot of antiques. She had a Vitrola. Is that how you say it?
I
The
think so.
record player, and it would start playing. And they would hear people going up steps and all that. I did not bring demons into my life.
Yeah.
I think you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't like all that stuff. So I had some cousins who dug all that and tried to bring it, but I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like that stuff. But
It could be. You could be thinking about it. Like if you want it, it's like it could be there.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then that's crazy. You could be. I mean, so many people. It is true. So many people around the world want to know about the Bell. The Bell Witch is it the most famous witch?
Most famous ghost. Yeah, I mean, she's really a ghost, right?
Yeah.
They call her Bell Witch, but spirit.
Spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, spirit.
Yeah.
An American Haunting of the Bell Witch. Is it good?
I can't remember. Is it on
I can't remember. I saw it, but you're right. It was Donald Sutherland, not Tommy Lee Jones.
Is it got good ratings? I might watch it tonight.
Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah. 14% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh,
All right, maybe I'll give it a nice breeze through.
murder.
Or maybe I got enough from you and I don't need to go watch it.
Oh my gosh, that is bad. There was one made in Pigeon Forge, and I'm scared to even say this because that man, I've said before that it was bad, and he came after me. But the reason why it was bad is that it was not, it was set in East Tennessee in a holler.
Yeah.
Well, in Middle Tennessee, we don't have hollers, and they were doing an apple harvesting. And we grow dark fire tobacco, and that's what we're known for in Middle Tennessee, and especially in Adams. And that's why the Bell family lived there, and they were very prominent. Adams was going to be the capital of Tennessee, and because of the rich farmland, but then they decided on Nashville. But anyway,
Yeah.
they made this.
That's why your family
movie.
moved there because you were like, all right,
Yeah.
well, we'll get a head start. And then they go, we're moving it. And you go, dadgummit. We'll give y'all a witch, though.
Yeah, but they did a movie up in Pigeon Forge, and nothing was accurate, and I guess it wasn't supposed to be historically accurate, but the story itself, it was bad acting. It was like, "Hello, I am the Bell Witch," that kind of thing. And I just said that on the local radio in Knoxville,
Oh.
and he was like, "You don't understand what art is."
Yeah.
Hey, boo boo. Hey, boo boo.
All
Hey,
right.
my darling.
This is a little bit longer one. This was
Yeah,
good.
we had fun.
Yeah.
This is our.
Did y'all really?
Oh,
Yeah.
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 I've had fun.
I don't think the audience did, but we did. And it was great.
Yeah.
Oh, you angel.
Yeah.
This is
Thank
in
you.
our last episode of the year.
This is our last episode of the year. We're going to title it Bell Witch because then we barely talk about Bell. It's our last, our final episode of the year is today.
Wow.
It's you.
I got some 2022 predictions. Can I make?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is
Oh.
the big one.
Yeah. I got one for you. You're going to put out a special in 2022.
Oh,
That's mine for you.
I'll make sure that I don't have a thyroid nodule. I'll really watch my gluten. Thank
better.
you, Brian Bates.
I'm like the Wizard of Oz. I'm just giving out gifts. You're going to do a late night set.
Oh,
Late night
okay.
special.
That sounds
Fallon.
good.
That's good.
Mhm.
I got 2 for you.
What is yours going to be?
I'm going to have a baby.
And I'm going to
Which
help
is
raise it.
The actually the probably the most accomplished.
Yeah,
Or
for
what is
sure.
this?
the most unlikely a couple
Yeah.
months ago if you'd have said it.
Yeah.
You're going to play Augusta.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that. You'll finally play probably the nicest golf course in America, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to meet Jerry Seinfeld and get to know him and have his number and become friends with him.
Oh,
That'd
man.
be, those are big. How exciting would that be?
I don't really know him, so not that excited.
It would be
Harper's
that
not
exciting.
impressed.
Those are 2 good ones.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
All your
From
ones for
Fred to
this year
Seinfeld.
were correct, right? Or maybe it's a little,
I can't remember what they were. What was it for you?
I don't know.
You got married, which I think you're already engaged, so that's
Yeah,
pretty easy. And you did Just for Laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New Faces Montreal.
Mhm.
Yep.
There you got that one.
Did I?
So it's
what was
looking
mine?
good.
I don't remember
Yeah.
what. Would you remember what it was for him?
No. Sorry.
Okay. She has one for Bob Ripple Pants.
Your name will be more popular that more people will be calling you that, Bob Ripple Pants.
Ooh,
Well, that's a good prediction.
That's a good prediction. More people know who Bob Ripple Pants is.
It's well on its way.
Yeah. I like them. Awesome.
Yeah.
I think
Thank you, man.
would be. I think this next year will be your biggest year.
Well,
Your biggest
2020,
headline.
2021 was my biggest
I
year.
know,
So,
so it will be 2022 will be your
well, thank you. I
biggest
hope so.
on your own headlining
For sure.
your own world. It'll be a good thing making $200. That's what he should be paying him. We clarified that. Brian will do any show.
The offers are
100
still coming in.
Yeah, $150 per 2 hours. Not even an hour. It's more than no. All right, everybody, we love you. We hope all of you have a wonderful new year. We can't wait to see you next year. As always, you're the only reason we're here. So thank you for everything, and we will see you next time. All right, bye.